Teflon paint tray set is now $4.99. Savor the days of spring with help from Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
You can carry a lot in a box. Your stories, your victories, your reputation. Ram Box. Lockable, sealable, durable. Only in a Ram truck.
Get 0% APR for 60 months or up to $6,500 in total values on Ram Crew Cab Bighorns with Ram Box.
Ram.
The Pac-12 Championship, the Big Ten Championship, the NFC Playoffs, and the Daytona 500. The world's biggest events are on Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports!
Tonight on Fox, Interleague Baseball's back in prime time.
'Cause it starts tonight!
Favorite teams, the best matchups, right here, right now, on Fox.
Welcome to the Lowe's pregame show on Fox. Lowe's, let's build something together. Hi, everybody, and welcome inside the Fox Network Center here in Los Angeles for interleague play on Fox Saturday's primetime baseball coverage. I am Chris Rose, joined once again by the former All-Star closer Mitch Williams. It is good to see you back.
Glad to be back, Rosie. Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next week as well, by the way.
Yes, sir.
And in just a few minutes, a very special piece by comedian Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most passionate baseball fans you will ever meet. And one thing I know Jerry loves is interleague play, now in its 15th season. And Mitch, everybody always wants to discuss. Harder on the AL or the NL clubs in interleague play?
I'll be honest, Rosie, I think it's a wash. American League teams are not going to waste their time during the year throwing batting practice to pitchers. But the National League teams are not going to carry a big bat on their bench that doesn't have versatility that they can put in for defensive reasons during the year at some point. So I think it's a wash. It's all about baseball now anyway.
Any AL pitchers going to get a knock tonight?
Yes.
That way.
A swinging bat's a dangerous bat.
Good point. Good point. Well, obviously the fans still love it because they turn out. The attendance goes way up during interleague play, and that is included in the Subway Series. Now, about 45 minutes ago up in the Bronx, it was pouring rain, but this is about 25 minutes ago. They were pulling the tarp off the field, and we will have first pitch on time between the Mets and the Yankees. The Cubs are visiting Fenway Park for the first time since losing the 1918 World Series. So the Euchre and Alfonso Soriano donning throwbacks. What do you think?
You know, I never minded the throwback uniform as long as the material was the same as the material you wear now. But when they brought those wool ones out, those were zero fun to wear.
Youkilis looks like something out of 8 Men Out, by the way. I mean, he fits right in.
Like a painter.
In Philly, Michael Young gets his hacks against Cliff Lee, who helped take Texas to the World Series last year.
And Cliff Lee's going to have to be cognizant of the fact that, number one, he's pitched with the Rangers and against them. They know he's going to be around the plate. They're going to be hacking.
And out in San Francisco, Coco Crisp and the A's have yet to figure out Tim Lincecum.
Well, the guy on the left, it better get ready for the guy on the right, because Lincecum, he's throwing the ball extremely well. His record doesn't indicate it, but his pitching does.
Well, right now it is time for us to take you out to the ballpark live and check in with some of tonight's big leaguers just moments before they take the field. And we are leading off in Fenway Park with Cubs first baseman Carlos Pena. Now, Carlos, you actually grew up in the Northeast. You played college ball at Northeastern. So you still love coming home and playing there in Fenway Park?
Oh, it's always a blast. You know, every time I come home, I have a lot of fun. I got my family here, a lot of friends, and it's always a lot of fun. I always look forward to coming back to Fenway, playing here.
All right, I got to ask you about the 1918 uniform. Do you play for the Cubs, or is that the UBs?
You know what? I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it's all about. But I kind of dig them, man. I like these uniforms. They're kind of cool. So we're gonna have a lot of fun out there. We're gonna go out and play as hard as we possibly can. And you know, these guys are giving me a hard time right now. You see them all. I wish we could pan over there and you could see these guys. They're going nuts.
Well, we appreciate the time, Carlos. Thanks. You look good, by the way. You look sharp.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying.
Division leaders meet in Philly as we are joined by Ryan Madsen, who's 8 for 8 in save situations for the Phils.
Rye, it's Mitch, and I ain't been accused of being the smartest guy in the world, but I told you when you took this job over as closer in Philadelphia that you had been doing the harder job for years being a setup guy. Is that what you found so far being the closer?
Yeah, I think so. I think in the ninth inning, I think the hitters have a little more pressure. A couple of people told me that. You've told me that. A couple of the guys told me, and it's coming out true. And that's what I'm just working with. I'm going out there being aggressive, and they're swinging at my pitches right now, so I'm liking it.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Off to New York and the Subway Series, where Jason Isringhausen, he was with the Mets before interleague play even began 15 years ago. He's come full circle.
Jason, it's Mitch Williams, and you had the opportunity to pitch with the Mets in the Subway Series 12 years ago. Your career has gone full circle. You're back probably towards the end of your career. What's it feel like to be finishing up with your original team?
It's been great so far. I mean, I'm just trying to go out there, go by pitch, day by day, and try to keep up with the other old guys like Beltran that are here. So we try to do that kind of stuff. He's right here beside me, just to let you know.
Jason, thank you very much for the time. Best of luck tonight against the Yankees.
All right, guys. Thank you.
And finally, to the home of the defending World Series champs, Giants center fielder Andres Torres joins us. Now, Andres, you've played against the Oakland A's before, but now is it different since you're wearing that jewelry on your finger?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, Andres, can you hear me?
Yes. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it's a little different playing the Oakland A's this time around since you're now a World Series champ.
Yeah, it's different. It's a bless. Last year we get that world champion. I think it's we work hard for this, and we just playing hard every day.
All right, well, Andres, thank you very much for the time. Best of luck tonight on Fox against the Oakland A's. Well, the two of us are going to be here all night with scores and highlights. Up next, we're going to send you off to your game. But first, as promised, here is lifelong New York Mets fan and baseball enthusiast Jerry Seinfeld with his take on the grand old game. Enjoy.
Baseball. I love every single bit of it. Oh, but what about the contracts, the inequalities, the injustice, the horrible cruelties of fate? And that damn DH. Oh, do I hate that DH. Whenever he comes up, I think, who is this guy? Where did he come from? He's not in the game. This isn't a movie. There's no cameos. You want to be hated and feel awful? Take a part-time job. That's what a DH is. Everyone actually working there finds you instantly annoying. You ask where anything is, they just point to the exit. The All-Star game doesn't need to have a postseason consequence. You know why? Because it's a game of all stars. They're all stars. I know. I get all the problems. And whatever your opinion is, I agree with it. You know why? Because I don't care. You know what I care about? Is the grass green? Are the gloves leather? And are the bats wood? Because I need this game. I love the young guys. I love the old guys. I love that they're all just guys. I can't believe the number of body types that can somehow look reasonable in a baseball uniform. He's a big man. Really? I thought he was just a fat guy. I love all baseball cliches because in baseball, they're not cliches. There's cheddar, filthy, kitchen hacks, got a piece, quickly in an 0-2 hole, cutting a ribeye, dinger, ducks, raking, cheated, hanging in. I love the go sign, the dish, the line, the alley, the lumber, full extension, the plate, the pine, and the punch out. And now it's time for interleague play. Some great rivalries and some that just look like a flight that got diverted to the wrong airport. Again, don't care. Because when I settle into a seat in the stands, the first thing I do is whisper to myself like George C. Scott and Patton.
God help me, I do love it so.
As long as the grass is green, the gloves are leather, and the bats are wood. Let's play ball!
You're watching Major League Baseball on Fox.
Idol's most talented season yet comes down to the final two. And it's your last chance to vote.
One will be crowned your next American Idol.
Idol's two-night finale begins Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Quench your thirst for summertime fun at Casey's General Stores. Buy 2 32-ounce Powerades and get one free. Tame your hunger with one of our homemade to-go large taco pizzas for only $11.99. And stop into any Casey's and register to win free gas for a year, along with other great giveaways.
It's all good in the summertime. Casey's General Store.
A raging sex drive, a deep voice.
Ladies, listen up.
I'm talking about you. Today's show, it's about manly problems that women have.
New Doctors. Monday at 5 on Fox 18.
It's a brand new Nate Berkus show. Give yourself a retro chic makeover with a little help from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And redefine your sweet tooth.
We're taking out 25 grams of sugar and we're taking out 20 grams of carbohydrates.
How to cut the fat, not the flavor.
Monday at 4 on Fox 18.
It's with a nod to the past that two of the game's most passionate fan bases meet at a historic venue. As for the first time since the 1918 World Series, the Chicago Cubs play this weekend at Fenway Park. Fox Saturday Baseball presents a primetime special as the Chicago Cubs do battle with the Boston Red Sox. And welcome inside the broadcast booth at Fenway Park, Matt Vasgersian. It's a series that fans have been looking forward to across the country for quite a long time, as this weekend represents the Cubs' first appearance at Fenway since the 1918 World Series. And tonight, both teams will salute that fall classic over 90 years ago in turn-back-the-clock uniforms and with a special third-inning presentation designed to recapture the ballpark experience from that era. But on to the matchup tonight as I welcome my broadcast partner, Eric Karros, to the telecast. Eric, the Red Sox are hot, winners of a season-best 7 in a row, and they're doing it with big offense.
Well, the middle lineup has really come alive. Kevin Youkilis, an 8-game hitting streak where he has 11 RBI. And what are you going to say about Adrian Gonzalez? The month of May, more RBI than any big leaguer, 26.
For the Cubs, despite being pounded in the series opener yesterday, Mike Quade and his bunch like their chances to even up the series with the pitching matchup tonight. They've got Carlos Zambrano.
Well, Big Z, he's the horse of this staff. And since the middle of last year, August, he is 10-1 in road starts. He's got a road start tonight, and he's going to have to throw well.
Should be a lot of fun tonight. All the folklore, all the Babylon of two of the most storied teams in the game. Some of baseball's biggest names have been part of these storied franchises, but none had met in a series at Fenway Park since 1918. Tonight, the Cubs' young stars face an Adrian Gonzalez-led Red Sox resurgence under the lights in prime time at Fenway. Lineups in the opening pitch are coming up next.
America is facing some tough challenges right now. Two of the most important are energy security and economic growth. North America actually has one of the largest oil reserves in the world. A large part of that is oil sands. This resource has the ability to create hundreds of thousands of jobs. At our Curl project in Canada, we'll be able to produce these oil sands with the same emissions as many other oils, and that's a huge breakthrough. That's good for our country's energy security and our economy.
You asked for it, America. Pizza Hut's $10 any deal is back. Any pizza, any size, any crust, any toppings is just $10 when you carry out. Are you ready? Because we are.
Pizza Hut's $10 any deal is back. Any pizza, any size, any crust, any toppings is now just $10 when you carry out. Get all of your favorites for just $10 each. But hurry in, this deal is for a limited time only. Only at your Pizza Hut.
First Android 3.0 tablet. What's so special?
Android 3.0 is designed for serious multitasking.
Oh. Did she read my mind? Anyway, how can I convince my wife?
Your wife will love the dual-core Tegra 2 chipset to stream movies from Android Market. It's also 4G LTE upgradable.
Must be this toothache making me hear things.
Say you need a dentist nearby. The new Google Maps can show you in 3D.
A wide selection of tablets at great prices from the people who know them best. Verizon.
Yeah. It's not about what you can get into. But what you can get out of. The 2011 Jeep Wrangler Adventure is never ordinary. Well-qualified lessees can get a 2011 Jeep Wrangler 2-door 4x4 for $299 a month.
And MLB Network has more action all season long.
It's another walk-off win!
Because MLB Tonight takes you inside the park live every night with more highlights, analysis, and live look-ins to the big moments across the league.
And he makes the play!
MLB Network also has live games 4 nights a week, over 100 this season.
He's got a party waiting for him at home plate.
The coverage on MLB Tonight, the games on MLB Network. Go to MLBnetwork.com for schedule and channel number.
Welcome back to friendly, foggy Fenway Park. Primetime baseball here in Boston. And it's turned into a coolish evening for baseball. A perfect afternoon in the Boston area today. It has gotten chilly and foggy as night falls here in New England. Cubs and Red Sox ready for their second in this historic 3-game series as we take a look at the Taco Bell lineup for the visiting Chicago Cubs. Kosuke Fukudome, after a day off yesterday, will start in right field. Darwin Barney and Starlin Castro both in the top 10 in batting in the National League, hitting 2 and 3. Aramis Ramirez, a 2-time All-Star, hitting cleanup. Carlos Pena, very familiar with this ballpark. He's at first base, batting number 5. Marlon Byrd, Alfonso Soriano, American League expats in the 6 and 7 spot. Blake DeWitt makes his first ever start in the outfield tonight. More on that as we continue. And Coy Hill bats number 9 for Chicago. On the mound to make his first start as a Red Sox, 29-year-old free agent acquisition Alfredo Aceves.
Yeah, 15-1 career. A lot of those were done in relief. And that's what he's done predominantly this year at the big league level, throw in relief. All right, my man Aceves, as I mentioned, he's thrown in relief. So when I say he's got to be efficient, he can't waste a lot of pitches. Terry Francona telling us maybe 80 pitches tonight. And the I'm new part, the Cubs have not faced him. Only 5 at-bats against him, and that's Byrd and Pena.
This opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. We are underway at Fenway, and it's a striking visual to start the night as you notice the turn back the clock uniforms. First pitch of the contest by Aceves is in for a strike. Nondescript would be the first thing that pops into my mind when you look at the 1918 Cubs and Red Sox unis tonight. As you look at the numbers of Kosuke Fukudome, again had a night off yesterday, and he's drilled on the second pitch of the ball game.
Well, Aceves just trying to go inside, and he just holds it too long, gets Fukudome right in the thigh. Going to tighten up a little bit.
Just the 6th career start for Alfredo Aceves tonight, and his first since the 2009 season with the Yankees. He last appeared Monday in relief, and he'll deal with the runner aboard to start the night. Here's Darwin Barney now. The outstanding right-handed hitting rookie second baseman at 318 to start play tonight. You know, we should mention, Eric, in terms of the big picture stuff, for the Red Sox, it's back into first place as the Tampa Bay Rays are losers today. Their game ending moments ago in South Florida. So the Red Sox in first place for the first time since starting the season 1-0.
Well, I think that's where everybody thought that they would be, but with that start, 2-10, they really climbed the hill to get back to the top of this American League East.
Here's the 0-1 home to Darwin Barney, and it's a ball and a strike now. Let's take a look at the American League Eastern Division standings then. As a result of what happened in South Florida tonight, Red Sox in a dead heat with the Rays, who have dropped 3 in a row. Yankees a half game back as they match up with the Mets in an interleague special tonight. Toronto and Baltimore round out the division. I think we'd all agree that there is less separation in the AL East this year, this late, than we can remember in the past number of years. Fewer than 5 games between first and last.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with Baltimore being a better ball club, Toronto getting off to a little better start, and then nobody at the top of the division running away from anything.
Barney behind a ball and 2 strikes. Starlin Castro waiting next. Fukudome aboard after being hit by a pitch. So Aceves out of the stretch again, fouled away. Well, the series history between these two teams, there isn't a whole lot to speak of. We mentioned the 1918 World Series. There was an interleague series at Wrigley Field played between these two clubs a few years ago, 2005, and Chicago took 2 out of 3 at their home turf.
You know, just looking at the picture right now, Aceves in the all white, and that's got to be, I wonder what that's like for a hitter, because you've got the white hat, you've got the predominantly white uniform. There's nothing to distinguish it. There's no lettering. I'm just wondering if the batters may have trouble picking up the ball tonight.
Certainly, if this was a day game, I think that'd be an even more salient point. But to your point, there's nothing going on that jersey.
Or that hat. Look at that thing, man. That's looked like it had some Clorox put on it. That thing is white as white can be.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Darwin Barney. On a hot pass, Pedroia. Fukudome to second. Well, there are a bunch of balls kicked around last night in the series opener, and most of those were Cub miscues. We'll see how that one scored. Runners aboard with nobody out.
Well, Barney stays back, lets the breaking ball get in on him, and he hit that pretty good. It was a pretty sharply hit ball, but Pedroia would tell you that he'd make that play more often than not.
Official score has credited Darwin Barney with a single, so runners at first and second, and again Aceves looking for his first out tonight. And now it's the hot-hitting shortstop Starlin Castro at .322, number 8 in batting in the National League. And a ball and no strikes to Starlin Castro. Castro 0 for 5 in the opener yesterday. The Cubs were whacked 15-5 last night. Took some of the thunder away from the Chicago fan base, Eric, that's traveled and been loud here for the last couple of nights.
Well, the Cubs nation travels as well as anybody. I mean, Red Sox nation gets a lot of the accolades, especially with some of the World Series wins the last couple of years. But these two franchises have as good a following and as faithful a following as any team in Major League Baseball. You hear the Yankee fans getting restless, but it's true.
1-1 from Aceves is swung on and missed. Aramis Ramirez waiting next. Cubs trying to jump on Alfredo Aceves early. And by Terry Francona's own admission, as we visited with the Red Sox manager earlier today, he'd be happy with 5 strong innings from a guy making his first starting assignment in 2 years. Two balls and 2 strikes. As far as the Cubs are concerned, Starlin Castro has been really their key catalyst offensively. 59 hits, and that gives him a share of the National League and Major League lead in that category. Mike Quade off to a 19-24 start this year, and a swing and a miss. Take a look at the Boston defense while we have a moment. It's been pretty good. 4th best fielding percentage in the American League. Crawford, Ellsbury, and Drew in the outfield. Youkilis, Lowry, Pedroia, and 2-time Gold Glover Adrian Gonzalez at first. And it's Jason Varitek, the 39-year-old captain, receiving Alfredo Aceves tonight. 1 gone now for Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez was in the lineup last night as the designated hitter, and it was something that certainly caught a lot of Cub followers by surprise, Eric, seeing Ramirez DHing. There were a lot of folks that thought Mike Quade was just going to pencil Alfonso Soriano in at DH all weekend long. That was not the case last night.
Well, and again, there's a lot of guys that, if they aren't familiar with DHing, they're more comfortable playing in the field. And you're talking about your cleanup hitter, your number 4 guy. And if he wants to be out there and play in the field, then Mike Quaddy's got to respect that. Even though offensively the team may be a bit better, maybe better defensively out in the outfield, if you can get Soriano in the DH role. One thing Mike Quaddy's not afraid to do, and that's make different lineups. He's been doing it all year long.
This being his 36th different lineup in 44 games. It's a fly ball slicing into the corner and out of play.
You know, Matt, this is where the Cubs have really struggled this year. And it's the hitting with runners in scoring position, but specifically it's that middle of the lineup, the guys that historically have been proven run producers. You know, Ramos Ramirez coming into tonight, 222 runners in scoring position. The man following him, Carlos Pena, 139. You know, the table has been set at the top of the lineup. Guys are getting on. The middle of the lineup has just not been as productive as they'd hoped.
On the ground to third, Youkilis to Pedroia covering at second. The relay in time to get them both. Nothing comes of a hit batsman and a first inning single. Underway at Fenway. Cubs 0, Red Sox coming to bat.
If you don't have an iPhone, you don't have the App Store. So you don't have the world's largest selection of apps that are this easy to find and this easy to download right to your phone. So it can be almost anything, like a boarding pass. Or do almost anything, like pay for your coffee. Yep, if you don't have an iPhone, well, you don't have an iPhone.
It happened again.
How bad? Like, no wedding bad?
Worse than that. We're in Bangkok.
You love to party.
Chow? What are you doing here?
Buddy's my +1.
Excuse me?
Sorry, all I wanted was a bachelor brunch.
The Hangover, Part 2.
You're not my friend. Don't say that, Phil. Are you serious? Even in America? You're the bearded devil!
Rated R. Starts May 26th.
Have you pushed your OnStar button yet? Time is running out to be one of the 10 people to win the Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or Cadillac of your choice. Just push your blue button and tell the advisor you want to enter to win a car. You don't even have to be an active subscriber. So push it now before all 10 cars are gone. No purchase necessary. See rules at OnStar.com to enter without a blue OnStar button. Sweepstakes ends May 31st.
Cubs turned away in the top half of the first. We go to the bottom of the first inning and take a look at the Red Sox Taco Bell starting lineup. Taco Bell think outside the bun. 22 All-Star appearances combined between the Red Sox 1 through 9. Ellsbury, Pedroia, and Gonzalez get us going off the top. Dustin, a 3-time All-Star. Youkilis, Ortiz, and Drew 4 through 6. Kevin Youkilis trying to keep an 8-game hitting streak alive tonight. It's Jed Lowry, the switch-hitting shortstop, Carl Crawford, and the switch-hitting catcher Jason Varitek rounding it out against veteran right-hander Carlos Zambrano out there to make his 10th starting assignment of the year in this, his 10th big league season.
Well, Big Z, he's the horse of this staff. I mean, he's got to be the #1 guy, especially with the news now that Matt Garza scratched for tomorrow night's ball game. And he's got to step it up. He's got to cool Gonzo. You know, we talked about it at the top of the show. Adrian Gonzalez as hot as anybody. Now, he's only 3 for 15, no extra base hits against Zambrano. And Carlos Zambrano has to throw strikes. And I know that's cliche, but this Red Sox team will be patient and take a lot of pitches.
Red Sox, again, the offense has been clicking. They lead the majors, having won 13 of their last 18 since the start of May. Things have really been going well here at Fenway in particular, as Jacoby Ellsbury takes a strike to start the night for Zambrano. This month alone, Boston leads the big leagues in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, runs scored, hits, doubles, RBIs. I could keep going. I think you get the picture.
And you know, they're doing that, and Dustin Pedroia has not got hot. J.D. Drew is not where he'll eventually be. Carl Crawford has been a shell of himself. I mean, it's scary what this lineup can potentially do.
Still averaging better than 6.5 runs per game, despite those players you mentioned not contributing at levels that one expects them to. Catcher's interference has been called on Coy Hill. The glove come right off on that defensive swing by Jacoby Ellsbury.
Coy Hill goes out to grab that. And you see, as you mentioned, Jacoby Ellsbury just trying to make contact. Usually you pull your hands in through the strike zone there. Jacoby Ellsbury, that bat, very circular swing, hands out early, runs into Coy Hill.
So Ellsbury and his great speed aboard for Dustin Pedroia, who's dusted off the plate. You see Carlos Zambrano staring back in after he moved Pedroia's feet. Pedroia was 2 for 4 yesterday, scored 3 runs in Boston's big lopsided win in the series opener. Now, make no mistake, Carlos Zambrano is a guy who wants to establish that every part of the plate is his when he's 60 feet 6 inches away from you. 2 balls and no strikes to Pedroia now.
Well, there's no question he will not give in. He's out there and he wants to command the mound, command home plate.
Been very good since coming back in mid-August after the disciplinary measures. Very good on the road in particular. However, the last 2 starts have not been as good as where Zambrano began the season in April and early May.
Yeah, last 2 starts, 10 runs. He was particularly disappointed in his last start. The Cubs had a lead and had a real bad middle of the game, gave up a number of runs with the Cincinnati Reds. He is an ace. Just doesn't always pitch like one, but he's got ace stuff.
Concerned with Ellsbury as well he should be. Jacoby with 14 stolen bases gives him a share of the American League lead. We'll see if Boston looks for an early opportunity to run tonight. And Pedroia pops it up. Routine play for Starlin Castro. So with 1 away, we check in with Chris Rose and Mitch Williams in Los Angeles for a direct TV game break.
Guys, down in Florida, Hanley Ramirez.
David Price leaves a changeup up, and Hanley hits it up. He's strong, strong man.
His 4th of the year. Marlins win at 5-3. Remember to see every baseball game the most in HD. It's 1-800-DIRECTV. And guys, the Red Sox now tied for first in the AL East with Tampa.
Chris, Mitch, thanks. And I think there might be a little concern down there, Eric, that the Rays played so well at the end of the month in early May. They've lost 3 in a row now. They're not supposed to lose when David Price goes out there, as was the case today.
No, but they run into a Florida Marlin team that has had some struggles as of late, but that's a very good ball club and a team that usually plays well at home. Now, David Price isn't going to go out and win every ball game, and like I said, that Florida Marlin ball club is a team that's formidable.
0-2 the count to Adrian Gonzalez. 4 for 6 yesterday in the series opener with 4 runs batted in. And that boosted his major league leading total to 41 at the start of play tonight. He has been everything the Red Sox could have hoped and dreamed for when they acquired him from San Diego in the offseason, and then took a couple of months, but quickly got him to re-up on a contract extension.
And he's certainly making that contract extension look like a bargain for the Red Sox. I mean, he's a complete hitter. He's not just a slugger, not just a guy that's swinging for the fence. Got an approach, got a plan each and every time he's up.
Swinging a drive out to center field. This is playable for Marlon Byrd, who quickly calls off Blake DeWitt to make the catch. Let's take a look at the rest of the Cubs defense because it's noteworthy tonight. Blake DeWitt making his first ever start in a big league outfield. He's in left. Ramirez, Castro, Barney, and Pena around the infield. Karros won a Gold Glove in 2008. Coy Hill behind the plate as he has been in the absence of Giovanni Soto for the most part. And again, Carlos Zambrano making start number 10 tonight. And that was certainly the first thing that jumped out at us when we looked at Mike Quaddy's lineup card. Here's Kevin Youkilis now, and that's the outfield. How are they going to play left here? How are they going to DH? Last night it was Soriano out there. He kicked the ball. And tonight, Quaddy feels apparently like he's in better shape in left with Blake DeWitt, who's never played a big league outfield position before. There goes Ellsbury. Hill's throw down to second, takes a bounce. The bag for Jacoby is his major league, or his American League leading rather, 15th of the year.
See, Ellsbury gets a pretty good jump right there. He's looking in initially. Throw bounces in there easily. You know, that's a real tough play for a middle infielder because the ball's bouncing up. You've got to catch it and then get the tag down.
Youkilis in front, 3-0 now.
I was going to say, as a middle infielder, you almost want to catch that ball while your glove is going down. It's not the conventional way to do it, but when you're trying to apply a tag and pick it at the same time, you want to go down.
Yeah, there's ball 4 to Youkilis. It looked like Zambrano wanted no part of him after falling behind, but I can't imagine pitching around anybody to face David Ortiz, who's swinging the bat as well as ever these days.
Well, he really is. And we talked about Gonzalez and Youkilis at the top of the show, about what a great month they're having and how they're swinging well. Hey, this man, 6 home runs in May, hitting at a .333 clip, and he's looking as good as ever.
This is how the Red Sox benefit from the DH. Their DH spot has been arguably the most productive in the American League. Ortiz with 8 home runs, most of any designated hitter. That's the big difference when the National League teams come to play in an American League ballpark. They don't have a guy that they're paying $10, $12, $15 million a year to do that, to DH. It's a spot that National League managers can use to give a guy a blow defensively, maybe mix and match based on a pitching assignment. But Terry Francona knows that, with exceptions perhaps every once in a while against a left-handed pitcher, this guy is going to be his DH more or less every night.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting because Terry Francona was trying to talk about how, you know, in the National League, it gives a manager an opportunity to get a guy some at-bats that may not normally get them. But I'll take that $10 million DH any day of the week over a guy trying to get some at-bats.
Hocked him up into shallow left. First defensive chance for Blake DeWitt. Look at him, like he was born to play left field at Fenway Park. Couple left on for Boston in the first.
Denise. Can we talk for a sec?
You can talk to me while I melt this burrito to perfection.
Oh, I love those 99 cents and melty. Let me throw something at you. This weekend, I happen to have access to a gift card. And I was thinking that maybe you and me could
Perfect. Good talk, Mitch.
It's Mike, but I like Mitch.
It's the deal that'll make you melt. The new 99-cent Beefy Melt Burrito. Premium seasoned beef and a blend of 3 cheeses melted to perfection. Only 99 cents at Taco Bell. Why pay more?
Well, I basically started noticing my hair loss a couple years ago, so I started using Rogaine foam.
Only Rogaine foam is shown to regrow hair in 85% of guys.
It just brought about a lot of confidence.
Try new unscented Rogaine foam. Learn more at Rogaine.com.
Gout's root cause is high uric acid. If you have gout, high uric acid can lead to more attacks. To help reduce attacks, lower your uric acid. Uloric lowers uric acid levels in adults with gout. It's not for the treatment of high uric acid without a history of gout. Uloric reduces uric acid to help you reach a healthy level.
Don't take Uloric if you are taking azathioprine, mercaptopurine, or theophylline. Gout may flare when starting Uloric. Don't stop taking it. Your doctor may give you other medicines to help prevent flares. A small number of heart attacks, strokes, and heart-related deaths were seen in studies. It's not certain Uloric caused them. Certain tests to check liver function may be required. Tell your doctor about liver or kidney problems or history of heart disease or stroke. The most common side effects are liver problems, nausea, gout flares, joint pain, and rash.
If you have gout, ask your doctor about Uloric.
Fox Saturday Baseball, this primetime special is presented by Lowe's, is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Back with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian here at Fenway Park. Scoreless through an inning. Both teams with opportunities to score early on. And both teams clad in the turn back the clock 1918 throwback uniforms to salute the last time these two teams met at this ballpark. Fall Classic 93 years ago. That does say Cubs. It's not, you know, some
not UBS in a rectangle, right?
Yeah, not some office team playing in a, you know, slow pitch softball league someplace. At least there's a logo there. The Red Sox got nothing going on the whites. Carlos Pena leads things off in the visitors' second, followed by Marlon Byrd and Alfonso Soriano. Carlos Pena hitless yesterday, 0 for 4 in the opener. He and Alfonso Soriano have more experience in this ballpark than all the other Cubs on the roster combined. Carlos starting to come out of it. There was certainly a lot of conversation around a very slow month of April at Wrigley Field. But the results have been a little better as the weather at least tries to warm up. Pena batting .309 in the month of May. And in front here, 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, and that's not atypical to get off to a slow start offensively in Chicago. I mean, you forget the weather, you go up there, you just not feeling good up at the plate. Hands are hurting.
3 balls and a strike.
Hit some balls hard and they get knocked down because of the wind. I mean, it's more taxing mentally than it is physically those first 2 months, because you can get real frustrated as a hitter. What you've got to be careful about is not starting to change things, moving your hands, moving your feet.
3-1 from Aceves on a couple of hops right to Adrian Gonzalez. And there's one away. Well, the turn back the clock uniforms did not go without notice of this veteran umpiring crew who gave the bat boy the business before the game tonight.
You look like a football referee. Hey, we got a football referee. Where's your flags at? Where's the beanbag?
Oh. If there's any challenges, I'll go up and review.
There you go.
Red Sox bat boy Chris Cundiff taking the brunt end of the gags. I don't think Chris had much to do with the design of the throwback uniforms, I got to say. Taking it like a champ.
I mean, how do you sell those things? How do you sell that white hat and say, no, really, that's a Red Sox hat?
1-0 the count to Marlon Byrd. It's almost, if you close your eyes and look at the Red Sox uniform, you visualize a group of your uncles down in Boca at Del Boca Vista Phase 2 retirement community playing lawn bowling on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, notice too, all the players, they've got the high socks. You know, typical now, today's player, they wear the pants all the way down to the shoe. Getting to see a lot of calves exposed tonight.
I like the fact that they're doing that. Get the spirit of the thing, right?
Well, Kevin Youkilis, I'm not sure what he's featuring down there.
He's looking like a full-service gas station attendant from the 40s. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Marlon Byrd. Oh! Wow. Oh, no. Boy, that is a frightening moment when someone misses up around the head. We'll take perhaps one and only one look at what happened here. They're rushing Marlon Byrd right onto the trainer's table.
Well, this ball, they wanted to go up high, just continues to run in. Looked like it got a little bit of the helmet and some good part of the face.
Oh, man. I think Kevin Youkilis reacting the same way 37,000 plus did here in the ballpark. You see it catch a guy in the face like that. So now Alfredo Aceves will try to recompose himself. There will be a pinch runner. So Reed Johnson runs. He will likely remain in the outfield. We'll see how they reconfigure defensively the Cubs in the next half inning. And here's Alfonso Soriano now. Couple of hit batsmen in this one from Alfredo Aceves. And again, a guy making his first start in the better part of 2 years. He has not thrown a lot in relief this season. And those early cobwebs starting to show themselves. Ball and no strikes to Soriano. Breaking ball in for a strike.
Well, you know, one of the other things too, as a starter now, he's had 4 days to think about it. You know, as a relief pitcher, you come to the park, you don't know if you're going to get in. You be ready to go, and you get the call, you go. But he has had what you want to call it, prepare, think. He's had a couple days for this.
Beyond the top 3 starters for the Red Sox, there is a bit of disarray in the backside of the rotation. A little comeback slider catches the plate, and it's 1-2 now. Daisuke Matsuzaka with a UCL, ulnar collateral ligament in the throwing elbow rather. And John Lackey on the shelf as well. They're hoping that Lackey can come back relatively soon as compared to Matsuzaka, who they're prepared to be without for upwards of a month plus. And that's not to say the bullpen is completely healthy either. The Red Sox without Bobby Jenks, who has missed 17 games with a bicep injury. And I think you could say the same thing for the Red Sox as you do for the Cubs, and that's that the 4 and 5 spots in the rotation, there's a lot of uncertainty there.
There is uncertainty, but the Red Sox, they've had what they've had for a number of years, that ace in the hole, Tim Wakefield. Getting a start tomorrow, I believe. But he's a guy that can fill so many voids. You know, and one of the things about him starting tomorrow, you know, he doesn't just impact the club he's pitching against that day. Usually after you face a knuckleball pitcher as a hitter, you're kind of in a funk for a few days.
Ball and 2 strikes to count to Alfonso Soriano. Yeah, how about the Cubs having to face Tim Wakefield tomorrow? And then they've got R.A. Dickey on the schedule 3 days later. So you're talking about potentially really messing with the circuitry there. 2 knuckleballers within a week's period.
Yeah, that's not fun. Not fun as a hitter. You know, and a lot of times some guys' approach is you just go up and you take pitches. You just let him. If he can throw 3 knuckleballs over the plate, you know, God bless him.
Estevez working very deliberately here with a runner aboard and one gone. Soriano sends a drive out to left center field. Ellsbury and Crawford are there, and Ellsbury handles it. There are 2 away. Time to take a look at tonight's Ford keys to the game.
Well, for the Cubs, they've got to catch the ball. They've been real porous on defense this year, and that's cost them a number of games. Be patient, make Estevez get that pitch count up. Red Sox, they've got to keep doing what they've been doing. Make it 8 in a row tonight. Get on for Adrian Gonzalez.
2 gone here with rather Johnson aboard at first base. And now it's Blake DeWitt. Well, obviously, Mike Quade would not have penciled Blake DeWitt out there in left field tonight if he didn't think he was capable of handling the job. Fact remains, you're playing outfield at the big league level for the first time, and you're going to do it on the road at Fenway Park in front of that treacherous monster. And that's something that you just can't prepare for anywhere else. DeWitt pops it up. Jed Lowry spinning into shallow left field to make the catch and retire the side. Played an inning and a half tonight. No score at Fenway.
Spicy, crispy, peppery, chickeny, yummy, only $1.
Take care of your engine, and it'll go far. One way I can take care of my engine, One-A-Day Men's, a complete multivitamin for my overall health. Plus, it supports my heart health and helps maintain healthy blood pressure. Whoa. Kinda makes your heart race, huh?
There was a town held captive by an evil gas pump. It fed on people's hard-earned money. But along came the Michelin Man, who reminded them the right tire changes everything. And with fuel-efficient tires in place, that evil gas pump wasn't so evil anymore. Michelin Energy Saver AS tires can help save up to 109 gallons of fuel. Michelin, a better way forward.
But it's just 2 degrees. 2 degrees is a lot of money. But I'm sweaty.
We have a car payment to make.
Don't beat yourself up over energy costs. Mitsubishi Electric Systems give you efficient individual room control with no ductwork. Mitsubishi Electric Cooling and Heating. Live better. Go to MitsubishiComfort.com.
Today's game presented by Lowe's is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. No score early on at friendly, foggy Fenway, and it's getting foggier by the minute. I think it's great that we're all still around, given we're past the 6 o'clock hour. Nice to be here at the big league ballpark. Here's J.D. Drew leading things off in the Red Sox second. Drew, Lowry, and Crawford against Carlos Zambrano. Well, there have been base runners aboard in all 3 half innings that have been opened. A great diving play by Aramis Ramirez. Throw to first is just in time to get his man.
Well, this is why you run out Aramis Ramirez at third base. Still one of the finer defensive players in the game. Able to fully extend and then gathers himself. Makes a good throw. You know, that's the thing where a lot of guys get into trouble, is getting themselves set to make the throw. He does as good a job as any.
So with 1 gone now, the switch hitting shortstop Jed Lowry. Lowry up over 300 still, despite cooling off a bit as compared to the red hot start that he got off to. A couple of hits last night and playing consistently in place of Marco Scutaro, who has a troubling oblique injury, I should say, that has kept him on the shelf. And a base hit for Lowry. First hit of the night for the Red Sox. So a man aboard now for Carl Crawford. Crawford checking in at 212. It has been a slow, steady climb out of the abyss for the Red Sox $142 million man. A four-time All-Star in Tampa Bay, and a guy who came here to Fenway Park regularly as a visitor to inflict much damage on the Red Sox, has found adapting to the new uniform perhaps more difficult than he bargained for. He checks a swing, and it's a ball and a strike.
I think he'll be fine. You know, people want production right out of the chute, and if you're not getting it, oh my goodness. Physically, he's fine. Just needs to get a bit of confidence with some success.
Well, you can take a look at how he has climbed out a bit after the horrible April that saw him bat $1.50. 288 so far in this still unfinished month of May.
It's better, but it's not anything what they hope he will be. He's batting at the bottom of the lineup. I mean, this is an impact guy.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Of concern to the Red Sox, these numbers, how Carl Crawford on fastballs has really struggled this year. Around the 300 mark or better on that particular pitch for 3 straight seasons, but 214 on the old number 1 this year. Like that. That's a 92-mile-an-hour fastball that's fouled back.
Right, and there are a number of reasons for that. You know, I think as a hitter, when you're not catching up to the fastball and you're physically fine, what that means is you're indecisive. You're not sure what you're trying to do at the plate. You're not confident in sitting on a fastball. You're not trusting your ability. You know, I mean, if I'm Carl Crawford right now, I'm going home and I'm looking at the back of that baseball card that has those numbers that he's put up in Tampa Bay, trying to feel good about myself, because it's more mental than it is physical.
2-2 with 1 out and 1 on. And a full count now. The Red Sox themselves, and from teammates all the way up to Terry Francona, as you take a look at Jason Varitek on deck, they point to the fact that Crawford has come through with some big hits. There might not be as many hits as what they are expecting, but he has made an impact. The Red Sox have 4 walk-off victories this year. Crawford responsible for 3 of those, including the most recent one on Thursday night to finish a 2-game sweep of the Tigers. Putting up a pretty good fight against Carlos Zambrano. As you take a look at Red Sox hitting coach Dave Magadan. That's dumped into right and has a chance to drop in. Noah Fukudome's there to not only make the catch, he had a shot at doubling off Lowry. Jed gets back, and there are 2 away.
Well, Crawford doing a nice job of battling some pitches, but then eventually gets one in on the hands. Fukudome comes running in, makes a nice catch, and thinks maybe he'll catch Lowry sleeping. Just in on the hands, doesn't get the extension.
That was a 9-pitch at bat, and to our earlier point, Eric, the last 4 pitches were fastballs. I mean, here it is, hit it. Challenging a guy. And now Jason Varitek with the man on.
Well, anytime somebody's struggling, they have to prove to you that they can hit a fastball. Whether you're a rookie, whether you're a guy that is going through some struggles.
And Zambrano's fastball, it's not straight. There's a lot of movement there. Throws a heavy ball.
Jason Varitek did not play in the opener yesterday. Jared Saltalamacchia played and had a nice night offensively. Varitek's jammed, and a one-hopper to Barney that will retire the side. 2 complete in the books at Fenway. Scoreless will return to Boston after a break from your local Fox station.
You're watching Major League Baseball on Fox.
Here at Hardee's, we believe in burgers.
Big fat juices running down your arm kind of burgers.
We believe in putting hot models in our commercials because ugly ones don't sell burgers. It's true.
We believe that life is short, so it feels good, do it.
And if it tastes good, eat it.
We're Hardee's, and that's just the way it is.
Time to step outdoors and dig into spring. And at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we're ready. With all the tools, toys, and supplies that'll help you savor every moment. Right now, save $70 on a DeWalt 18-volt compact hammer drill driver. It's $179.99. This Generac Core Power Generator is $1729.99. And this Briggs & Stratton Power Washer is $289.99. Savor the days of spring with help from Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
You always have a chance to win when you play Iowa Lottery scratch games. But now, if you don't win the first time, play it again for another chance to win cash prizes. Go to IALottery.com and sign up for our enriched VIP club. Then you can enter eligible non-winning scratch tickets for a chance to win up to $5,000. So remember, if you didn't win, play it again. From the Iowa Lottery.
On the next 2.5 Men, Charlie gets caught by a jilted husband.
I have a firm rule when it comes to sleeping with married women.
Yeah, she's firm enough. He'll do her.
On 2.5 Men.
Monday at 6 on Fox 18.
A raging sex drive, a deep voice.
Ladies, listen up.
I'm talking about you. Today's show, it's about manly problems that women have.
New Doctors. Monday at 5 on Fox 18.
The Nate Berkus Show, Life by Design.
Weekdays at 4 on Fox 18.
Welcome back to Fox Saturday Baseball in Primetime, presented by Lowe's. Let's build something together. Together with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian back at Fenway. Scoreless after 2 innings. This 3rd inning will look and sound a little different. You're looking right there at the PA announcer. Yes, the PA announcer. Coy Hill leads things off in the Cubs' 3rd. In this 3rd inning, the Red Sox are trying to recreate the ballpark experience as it may have been presented in 1918. The last time these two teams met at Fenway prior to last night. So as a result, no music between innings. No PA announcer the way we know it. That was your PA announcer, dude with a megaphone. And they've changed the scoreboard presentation. So that sets the stage for this top half of the 3rd. Coy Hill, Kosuke Fukudome, and Darwin Barney against Alfredo Aceves in the 3rd inning tonight.
Alfredo very deliberate, taking his time, making sure he's ready to go.
There was no PA system as we know it to be certainly these days. Back in 1918 there was also no Band-Aid. My goodness, no bubble gum didn't come onto the scene until 1928. No beer in a can until 1935. Inhumane conditions with which fans had to attend a ball game. Chopped out to the shortstop spot for Jed Lowry, and Hills retired. Let's learn who's batting next.
Right fielder, Kosuke Fukudome.
Oh, dude. You know, I understand the old shtick, but get the guy's name right. You call him Kosuke?
Hey, the effort was there. You can't fault the guy for effort.
First thing you learn as a method actor, get the material down right. Do the accent last. Here is Kosuke Fukudome, hit by a pitch to start the ball game. One of 2 hit batsmen so far by Alfredo Aceves. Two balls and no strikes to Fukudome. Alfredo Aceves has been around, certainly not his first rodeo, though he hasn't started in the better part of 2 years. 2+ years of experience with the Yankees, most of that time in middle relief, but a number of years previous to his New York days in the Mexican leagues. That is in fact where he was discovered, so to speak, when he was signed as a free agent by the Blue Jays prior to 2001.
Oh, and he's trying everything right now. Standing out there trying to mess up the hitter's rhythm, taking his time.
And there's ball 4 to Kosuke Fukudome. PA announcers got me doing it. Hey, more fun from 1918. The president was Woodrow Wilson, telling everybody to waste not, want not, and turning off lights in the White House. 3 cents for a stamp. World Series Game 1, the first time the Star Spangled Banner was played prior to a baseball game, and Ted Williams was born that year. Here's Darwin Barney now with a runner aboard. You know, it's not as though these two teams meet often, even in spring training. The Cubs being in the Grapefruit League, or in the Cactus League rather, and the Red Sox being in the Grapefruit. Interleague play brings them together once every blue moon or so, it seems. So there isn't a lot of head-to-head. But that doesn't prevent you from putting each franchise next to one another and comparing that way. 2 balls and no strikes, the count to Darwin Barney. Two and one. Since 1919, the year after they met in the World Series, this is the way it's played out for the Cubs and Red Sox. A winning percentage very close to one another. The 2 World Series titles, of course, for the Sox in 2004, 2007. Cubs still without. And look at the difference in batting titles. Runner goes from first, throw down, and Fukudome has it stolen. Cubs of the Red Sox rather have had a problem shutting down running games for the last number of years.
Well, it is one area where they're vulnerable, and the Cubs, they just don't run. They do not run. But again, when you have opportunities like this, trying to make things happen, Mike Quade, hey, go ahead and try and steal a base if you can.
So Fukudome in scoring position now. 3 balls and a strike to Darwin Barney. Starlin Castro waiting next. The long look at the runner. And ball 4. What about the Mets and Yankees for a DirecTV game break? We check in with Chris Rose and Mitch Williams in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Matt. Russell the Muscle is back.
And this could be one of the best offseason signings ever. He's hit 8 home runs this year, 12 in his last 240 games.
Mets and Yankees tied at 2. Remember to see every baseball game the most in HD. It's 1-800-DIRECTV. Matt, Nikkei.
Guys, thanks. Yankees a half game back of the Red Sox and the Rays. Rays losers earlier today in South Florida. They've dropped 3 in a row. Things are tight as can be.
Did I hear best offseason signings ever? Did I hear that?
I don't know. Did he drop an ever?
He dropped an ever on there. Forever and ever. A bold statement from my man, Mitch.
The Wallfang's a big fan, apparently. Starlin Castro with a chance. Runners at first and second now with one gone. Back-to-back one-out walks by Alfredo Aceves, who has indeed struggled with his command tonight. You know, just another note on the AL East, Eric. Since 1995, never has that division been separated by 5 games or less this late into the season. We're so used to saying Red Sox, Yankees, and then the last couple of years the Rays, and we just kind of leave Toronto and Baltimore out of the conversation. That is an all-encompassing conversation this year. A chopper over the mound to second as Pedroia gets it to Lowry. They have the force play on Barney, and there are runners at the corners with 2 gone. Hey, next week, Fox Saturday Baseball continues. More primetime action. You can see the Cardinals and Rockies, the Angels and Twins, Reds, Braves, Red Sox, Tigers, or Royals and Rangers. That's next week, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. More primetime Saturday action next week on Fox. Aramis Ramirez the batter now. He grounded into the inning-ending double play in the first.
Well, again, Cubs with opportunities, runners in scoring position. There was a second at-bat that Starlin Castro had with runners on, and 0 for 2 this evening, and Aramis Ramirez getting his second shot.
Fukudome at third, Castro at first, 2 gone here in the third. What do you think so far of the no music?
You know, I haven't noticed that. I haven't heard any.
I guess we actually wouldn't notice it until the bottom of the third, because that's when the home team gets walked up to the plate with their favorite iPod selections. That's dumped into shallow left center, and it's going to drop in front of Ellsbury to bring in a run. Ramirez to second, and the Cubs strike first. 1-0 Chicago.
Well, Ramirez gets jammed, doesn't drive the ball. Ellsbury gets a decent break, lays out, and then at the point right there, he's just trying to keep it in front of him. So Castro doesn't score. Does a good job. Now Carlos Pena, he's trying to pick somebody up. As I mentioned, coming into tonight, a 139 average with runners in scoring position.
A ball and no strikes to Carlos Pena. Remember, it's not Marlon Byrd on deck. Byrd was scheduled and batted 6th, but was hit in the face with a pitch in the 2nd. And so it's Reed Johnson on deck. And just an update on Marlon's status. He is being taken to a local area hospital here shortly for evaluation. We're told he never lost consciousness, which is certainly a good sign, and if we receive further updates, we'll be sure to pass them along. One to Carlos Pena. Alfredo Aceves wiggled off hooks in the first and in the second. Had runners at first and second to start the ball game in the first, and got out of that jam. Two balls and a strike. For Carlos Pena, again, we talked about his experience in this ballpark, Eric, not only as a visitor, but he was a Red Sox for a very short time at the end of the 2006 season. hard to believe because he's such an established player, but Karros spent most of 2006 in AAA with the Yankees.
Had some time, too, with the Detroit Tigers.
And that bat that looked just like the one he offered in the second as he rolls a ground ball out to Adrian Gonzalez. The Cubs do break through with 1 in the third. Played 2.5. It's 1-0 Chicago.
Spicy, crispy, peppery, chickeny, yummy, only $1.
The Chevy Cruze Eco gets up to 42 miles per gallon.
What? Sam, get your ears cleaned out.
What did he say?
42 wild Italians. Huh?
It's a cruise for plus-size individuals.
It's a commercial, that's all.
I'm pretty sure he said the Chevy Cruze Eco.
A commercial for Eagle?
Eagles, no, Eco.
It's the Chevy Cruze Eco gets up to 42 miles per gallon.
Who asked you?
Amazingly fuel-efficient Chevy Cruze Eco.
Turn up the volume.
If you think heroes are only in movies, consider this. Over 70% of firefighters are local volunteers. These are our neighbors putting their lives on the line. And when they rely on a battery, there are firefighters everywhere who trust Duracell. And now you can join with Duracell to help. Just buy specially marked packs, and Duracell will make a battery donation to local volunteers. These days, don't we all need someone to trust? Duracell, trusted everywhere.
With DirecTV, you can start watching in one room, pause, and continue watching in any other room. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
Fox season finale Sunday is here, so grab a partner.
What'll I do?
It's a simple waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And witness the romance you never saw coming.
You beautiful wuss.
It's one epic night.
Join the backside of the force.
What?
The dark side. Long day.
Starting tomorrow at 7, 6 Central on Fox.
I'm John Walsh. While you enjoy tonight's game, the manhunt continues online at amw.com. America's Most Wanted's back on Fox Saturday, June 4th.
1-0 Chicago as we start the bottom half of the third. I was hoping to catch Cha-Cha down here mispronouncing the name of another player, but in fact, he's just holding it up to his lips now. Jacoby Ellsbury leads things off in the third. Ellsbury, Pedroia, and Gonzalez. Jacoby reached in the first on the rarely seen catcher's interference play. Rarely seen because it was a play in which Jacoby hit the glove square off the hand of Coy Hill. One ball and one strike to Ellsbury leading off the home third. Three base runners against Carlos Zambrano so far tonight, including that catcher's interference play, a base on balls, and a single. And nobody past second thus far. Yeah, you made the observation between innings, Eric. Carlos Zambrano going tough guy, sleeveless.
They didn't wear sleeves back in 1918. They didn't have them.
You think that's what he's doing? He's trying to get into the spirit of the promotion.
It's exactly what Carlos is trying to do.
Carlos woke up today and said, how can I make this promotion better? A chopper to first. Carlos Pena, 2008 Gold Glover, makes a nifty play. Time for a DirecTV game break. We check in with Chris Rose and Mitch Williams in L.A.
All right, Matt, Mark Teixeira, he is getting warm.
Yes, and that's a ball middle, and he drives it out of right center field. And to correct something, Matty, I said I meant best off-season signings.
Oh, okay. By the way, Teixeira's homered in 3 straight and has 12 overall. Matt and EK.
All right, guys, thanks. I don't think I was the guy that took Mitch to task, was I?
Well, he did. He said best offseason signing, but then he said ever. I'm not questioning that he said best offseason signing. He did say that. I acknowledge that, but he said ever.
Yeah, you know what, Eric? We ran back the tape. You're right. He did say ever. He did.
Yeah, and you were the best first baseman I ever saw.
Ever.
More from Chris and Mitch as we continue tonight, sadly, as a swing and a tip foul makes it a ball and 2 strikes on Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia popped in the infield in his first try tonight. You know, of all the numbers that get put out there for a guy like Carlos Zambrano, who's got such a big body of work, 8-8 with an ERA in the high 4s in 26 interleague starts. And a lot of the pundits try to make a big deal about someone's interleague numbers. You know, who's the all-time interleague hits leader? Guy hits 250 in interleague plays. I'm not sure that any of it matters anymore because we've cross-pollinated the game to the degree that an opponent's an opponent now. A swing and a miss. Pedroia down on strikes. First of the night for Carlos Zambrano. So 2 gone for Mr. May, Adrian Gonzalez, at least this year, Mr. May. We don't mean that in a Steinbrenner Winfield derogatory term. Adrian has been red hot this month.
Well, he really has. You know, 1 home run in April. You see what he's done this month, the 8 home runs, a 26 RBI. You know, what's been impressive is his ability to use the green monster, the wall, this month. Peppered a lot of balls off that wall. It's like he's playing racquetball against that thing. He did not do that the first month. I believe only 1 ball off the wall in April.
We should point out that the 8 May home runs that we had pointed out on that graphic that were tied for first now find him trailing the red-hotter Jose Bautista, who homered twice tonight for the Jays. He's got 9 in May now. Those numbers for Gonzalez were entering play today. That is not to take away what has been a great start to the month for the 3-time All-Star. On a sharp hop to shortstop, and a 1-2-3 third for Carlos Zambrano. Through 3 completed defense. Cubs on top 1-0.
To increase fuel efficiency, its profile is sculpted for optimal aerodynamics. It reduces wind resistance in an irresistible sort of way. The all-new Ford Focus with up to 40 miles per gallon highway.
Give yourself an edge. 1-A-Day Men's Pro Edge. A complete multivitamin with more magnesium to help support healthy muscle function. More B vitamins to help convert food to fuel. More confidence in a healthy you. 1-A-Day Men's Pro Edge.
This is the Nexus S 4G, the first phone that's Googled to the core with Sprint Super. A phone this powerful can do almost anything. So now, we can fill the internet with even more cats. With 4G speed, the latest version of Android, and the best Google apps, cats can be searched, watched, and shared faster than ever. The Nexus S 4G, only from Sprint, America's favorite 4G network.
I've never seen this kind of thing before. The fuse box electrical system's ripped out.
We've gotten calls from people who found local dogs, but the calls coming in aren't local. It's like they all just ran away.
Watch out!
Super 8 in theaters and IMAX June 10th.
Rough, dry skin taking over? There's an easy way to fix that. New Lubriderm Men's 3-in-1. The first and only body, face, post-shave lotion in one bottle.
Do something different?
New Lubriderm Men's 3-in-1.
It might be hard to believe that the new Focus can virtually park itself. Till you actually see it park itself. The all-new Ford Focus with class-exclusive active park assist.
Today's game presented by Lowe's is sponsored by the all-new Ford Focus. Drive one. And by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball. On a damp night at Fenway. Welcome back to the ballpark. Matt Vasgersian, Eric Karros, and a 1-0 Chicago lead as we start the fourth. Reed Johnson will open against Alfredo Aceves. Johnson followed by Soriano and DeWitt. Well, Reed Johnson out there to continue after pinch running for Marlon Byrd in the top of the second. And this was the scene and the reason why Reed Johnson is out there. Byrd hit in the face. And again, he has been taken to an area hospital for further evaluation. Never lost consciousness. And if we get more on his status, we'll be sure to post it for you. So Reed Johnson until further notice. And Mike Quade has the luxury, one supposes, of going to a relatively hot hand to take the place of the guy who's probably been, along with Starlin Castro, his most consistent offensive performer.
Well, Reed Johnson doing a nice job this year. Been spot starting, and it seems like every time he gets an opportunity, he's doing something up at the plate, making a nice defensive play.
Came back to the Cubs, did Johnson, on a minor league deal this year. That's sent out to center field for Ellsbury, and one gone. Alfredo Aceves starting to calm down. Carlos Zambrano on the other side of the scorecard has been very good. In between innings, we talked to Red Sox manager Terry Francona about the difficult nature of facing an all-star right-hander who his team doesn't see very often.
Yeah, I mean, the game's the game regardless. It's a little harder for the staff. I think we got to spend a little bit more time just feeling like we're prepared because we don't see these guys very much.
Adrian Gonzalez, everything you thought he'd be?
Yeah, I mean, you don't make a trade of that magnitude without knowing what you're getting, but it sure has been fun to watch and get to know him.
Terry, thanks for the time. Thanks for the visit. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Okay, guys, thanks.
It's Alfonso Soriano now with one gone. Soriano flied to center on a well-hit ball in the second tonight. Nothing in two. We talk about all these long-term deals that the Red Sox entered into this year. Carl Crawford, Gonzalez. Soriano's going to have an opposite field base hit. Alfonso Soriano is in the middle of his long-term guarantee with the Cubs. The deal he signed after his enormous 40-40 season in 2006.
When you see that pitch off the plate, Soriano just serves it out to right field. Doesn't go to right field very often, but with two strikes, just protecting.
You know, it's easy to go back and second guess those long-term deals, as we have a tendency to do. Blake DeWitt now with Soriano aboard. But back at the time, Soriano had just turned 31. Cubs were printing money. A successful run. They felt like they were every bit as competitive as anybody else in that division. And they signed Soriano to the mega deal. Now you look back at it and say, wow, that deal hamstrings the payroll. But at the time, certainly it made sense to the Cubs.
Well, that's the thing about making deals like that, is if you're wrong, you can throw a wrench into what you're trying to do with your organization for a number of years. You know, with Soriano, obviously hasn't worked out the way that they had hoped. More of a support player than a centerpiece player. But I think there were some other deals that, you know, were made that, because Soriano isn't that centerpiece, it made that deal you know, not so good.
Well, there is some money coming off the books next year. It's not Soriano's money. But Carlos Pena's here on a one-year deal. Aramis Ramirez has a player option for next year. When all said and done, the Cubs will have freed up in excess of $50 million heading into 2012. Blake DeWitt with a line shot for Drew. Help make a baseball moment. Kids will never forget. Go to ChevyBaseball.com to support youth baseball. Plus, enter to win one of 4 trips to the 2011 All-Star Game and keys to a new Chevrolet. Guess the question that gets kicked around at Wrigley most often, Eric, is there going to be enough in the kitty with the money coming off the books and whatever else might be scratched together to get involved in the Prince Fielder Albert Pujols sweepstakes?
Well, you have to look at how will that impact your ball club, not just next year, but into the future. And does that piece fit into what you're trying to do? Well, does that piece make your club a pennant contender? You don't go out and get involved just for the sake of being involved. I think that's what Jim Hendry will have to decide. I know fans will clamor, especially Cubs fans. Go out and get Pujols. Go out and get Fielder. But maybe that money is better spent somewhere else.
That would be if either one of those scenarios plays out and Prince Fielder or Albert Pujols is a Cub in 2012. Think about the hurt feelings in Milwaukee and St. Louis. Milwaukee in particular, a city that has kind of a second city complex to their big neighbors from the south. Coy Hill lines for Drew. Boy, that almost crept over his glove. A runner left stranded in the top of the 4th. Big Poppy bats second as we go to the bottom of the inning with the Cubs on top of the Red Sox. 1-0.
You have never held a droid this powerful. One that streams movies on a Super AMOLED Plus display with detail and color you never imagined possible. Introducing the Droid Charge by Samsung, the first droid to be infused with Verizon 4G LTE. Brace yourself for what Droid does now.
Spicy, crispy, peppery, chickeny, yummy, only $1.
We used to bet who could get closest to the edge. Took some crazy risks as a kid, but I was still over the edge with my cholesterol. Anyone with high cholesterol may be at increased risk of heart attack. Diet and exercise weren't enough for me. I stopped kidding myself. I've been eating healthier, exercising more, and now I'm also taking Lipitor. If you've been kidding yourself about high cholesterol, stop. 80% of people who have had heart attacks have high cholesterol. Lipitor is a cholesterol-lowering medication, FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke in patients who have heart disease or risk factors for heart disease.
Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
Keep going. Great ride down. Yeah. If you have high cholesterol, you may be at increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Don't kid yourself. Talk to your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
So you're telling me you watch every single game all season long right here on the couch? What if you get hungry?
Here.
Help yourself to a leg or something.
Yeah.
MLBFanCave.com. Follow it on Twitter. Like it on Facebook. Interact all season long.
Kevin Youkilis leads things off in the home 4th. Youkilis, Ortiz, and Drew. Red Sox in a shallow 1-0 hole in the middle innings tonight. Welcome back to Fenway Park with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian. Carlos Zambrano, so far so good. He's allowed all of 3 base runners, only 1 base hit against the 3-time All-Star tonight. Youkilis at 271 on the season. As you can see, he has been particularly good here at Fenway Park this year. His home batting average up over 360, good for third best in the American League. I have marveled at his timing mechanisms for the last number of years. Between the violin act up top with the bat, that's been well documented by now, the constant motion and the nervous energy at the plate, it's amazing how he has the kind of success he has.
Yeah, but the one thing that is relatively stable, it's the feet. You know, that's your base. You can do all the moving you want, but his base is pretty darn solid. And if you watch him, you know, he's moving, but all he's doing is staying loose. But look at the feet. Boom. Same thing every time.
And a base hit to lead off to Boston fourth. A man aboard for David Ortiz, who flied to left in his first try tonight. You know, the discussion of impending free agents that we had in the previous inning, Fielder, Pujols, we'd be remiss if we didn't include David Ortiz in that conversation. Not to go play first base somewhere, but his services will be on the open market. The impact he's had on the Red Sox has been immeasurable. He has been at the heart of the 2 World Series titles. He is perhaps one of the most popular players in franchise history, which is really saying something for a place like Boston. And his next home run will put him into rare company, sitting on 299 career home runs as a Red Sox.
See, lets that one go right there, giving it everything he has, and Brahma just gets it by him. You know, you talk about all the accolades as far as the numbers that he's been able to accumulate over his career, but just as important is his presence in that Boston Red Sox clubhouse. He garners respect, the voice of reason many times.
There have been only 4 Red Sox to hit as many as 300 home runs with the team. And again, Ortiz's next will be number 300. He'll join Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, Jim Rice, and Dwight Evans. Two balls and 2 strikes. I know fans might be sitting home saying, wait a minute, what about Manny? What about Carlton Fisk? Big totals, but neither one of them got to 300 as a Red Sox. Another challenging fastball fouled away, and it's still 2-2. I haven't noticed too many wrinkles by Big Z tonight. He's ridden that fastball up and in. Here it is, hit it.
Well, again, his fastball is not straight. Got a lot of movement. It bears in on the right-handed hitters. It'll sink. And then you've got the weather tonight. Very cold. Trying to run the ball in on the guys.
Ortiz with a drive, well struck, up and over the monster. Number 300 as a Red Sox for David Ortiz.
Well, he's done it as well as any left-handed hitter to wear a Red Sox uniform, and that's use that monster in left field to his advantage. Fly ball gets it right into the front row. Lets the ball travel deep in him and then muscles it out into left field.
J.D. Drew follows with a ground ball for Darwin Barney. And that's the first down of the inning for Carlos Zambrano. Number 9 for David Ortiz. And don't they look dramatic when they're coming right at you there in the Green Monster. Second home run for Ortiz in the last 3 nights. Here's Jed Lowry now with 1 gone. Nice souvenir there, young man. Zambrano working quickly. The 0-1 to Lowry is swung on and missed. We never know who's going to get the home run ball up there on the monster seats. That's become like what sitting courtside at a Laker game is in Los Angeles. That's a sexy spot to be seen. In fact, last night, Jared Saltalamacchia hit a home run up and over the monster. And the guy that caught the ball, Cubs president Crane Kenny, there he is. He got the souvenir, found some Cub fans out there and said, "You guys take it." And then one of those yahoos threw it back on the field, Wrigley style. There he is. Right. Lowry tried to hold up, and on the appeal, they say he did. Check his swing.
Yeah, that one wasn't going back on the field. That's a Boston fan right there. Gotta wonder if Big Papi goes and gets that. Somebody goes out and get that 300th home run as a Red Sox.
Ball 4, Lowry's aboard. Well, with so much history being tipped in this series, we talked in between innings to Cubs starter Ryan Dempster, a big franchise historian, and we asked Ryan how the great Harry Carey might call this series if he were here.
Hey guys, how about this? This is awesome to be out here at Fenway Park. The last time I was here, man, that was a long time ago. I was actually calling games for the White Sox. But to be here with the Cubbies is incredible. This is awesome, a great atmosphere, and hopefully the Cubbies can pull out a win.
All right, so really, how are things going with the Cubs? We know they've struggled a little bit, but will things get better?
Yeah, we hope so. No, we're playing all right. You know, there hasn't been a lot of games this year that we've been blown out of or not been right in the game, and the easiest way to win those games is just to play a little bit better. You know, play some better defense and do some better pitching and you know, hit the ball better. Whatever it is, whatever we got to do, you're just trying to find a way to win. So hopefully we can play well.
Ryan, thanks for having some fun with us. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. Anytime.
Ryan Dempster's, his Harry Carey is more like Will Ferrell's Harry Carey. It's kind of like an impression of an impression.
He's good.
Still very good. Here's Jason Varitek now with the runner aboard. Carl Crawford beating out what would have been the back end of an inning-ending double play as the captain takes a strike. This is what happened while we were visiting with Ryan Dempster. And I'm not sure beating out is the best way to put it. That's just Carlos Pena unable to make the play on the ball in the dirt.
Hey, take it easy on the first baseman there. That was a routine double play. It was just a bad throw. Pena, one of the finer defensive first basemen in the game.
It's a makeable play.
It's a big league. It's a big league. Chest high throws. Let's go.
1 ball and 1 strike to Varitek. And a base hit. Crawford throws on the brakes. Runners at first and second here. And now the top of the order will have a chance with 2 gone. So it's been the longest inning thus far for Carlos Zambrano, as his first offering home to Jacoby Ellsbury will be his 25th pitch here in the fourth. Ellsbury, the 7th Boston batter to come to the plate. He reached on catcher's interference and then stole the bag in the first. Cubs pitching coach Mark Riggins watching carefully. Chicago bullpen did not hold up well yesterday, and that's been the exception. If you want to split hairs and talk about the staff as a whole, the bullpen had a better time of it for the Cubs as compared to the starters. That's really where they've had their problems handed to them.
Well, they have had some struggles in that 4th and 5th spot with some injuries to Wells and the youngster Cashner. They just haven't been able to fill that void. Defensively, they haven't played well. You know, if it's not one thing, it's something else.
2 balls and no strikes to Jacoby Ellsbury. The Red Sox have had success with runners in scoring position this year. A .268 average collectively with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. And believe it or not, that .268 average is the 3rd best in the big leagues. I think those numbers are down across the board, Eric. We talk about it with the Cubs, the Red Sox. It just seems like a lot of clubs are without that.
It's the year of the pitcher. I mean, haven't we continued to advertise that? It's the year of the pitcher. And offenses aren't what we've become accustomed to.
Line to shortstop. That'll wrap up the 4th, not before David Ortiz can become the 5th Red Sox player to hit 300 home runs.
Finally, there's a choice for my patients with an irregular heartbeat called atrial fibrillation, or AFib, that's not caused by a heart valve problem.
Today we have Pradaxa to reduce the risk of a stroke caused by a clot. In a clinical trial, Pradaxa 150 milligrams reduced stroke risk 35% more than warfarin. And with Pradaxa, there's no need for those regular blood tests.
Pradaxa is progress.
Pradaxa can cause serious, sometimes fatal bleeding. Don't take Pradaxa if you have abnormal bleeding, and seek immediate medical care for unexpected signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising.
Pradaxa may increase your bleeding risk if you're 75 or older, have kidney problems or a bleeding condition like stomach ulcers, or if you take aspirin products, NSAIDs, or blood thinners.
Tell your doctor about all medicines you take, any planned medical or dental procedures, and don't stop taking Pradaxa without your doctor's approval, as stopping may increase your stroke risk.
Other side effects include indigestion, stomach pain, upset, or burning.
If you have AFib not caused by a heart valve problem, ask your doctor if Pradaxa can reduce your risk of a stroke.
Hey, Crystal. We're going to head on into the interview.
What led to your decision to go with the Fusion?
I just keep going back to looks. It's a great looking car.
How do your coworkers feel about your Fusion?
They were the ones who were against Ford. They're a truck company. For the most part, I'm pretty sure I've changed almost everyone's mind.
Crystal, you seem pretty comfortable up there. You sure you haven't done this before?
I did 8th grade telecommunications class.
Just because I'm a car guy doesn't mean I don't care about the environment.
Or being green, as if all I care about is my car.
My engine. How my wife gets to work.
Well, maybe.
But I also care about doing things right.
And what I'm leaving behind for the next car guy.
Introducing Valvoline Next Gen. Recycled oil made from a breakthrough process to exceed industry standards and match Valvoline's superior quality. Backed by the Valvoline Engine Guarantee Program, it's 50% recycled oil, 100% Valvoline protection.
Because I'm a car guy, I leave things in better shape than I find them.
Working the grill at Fenway. Well, let me ask you this. Fenway Frank, I know we're looking at burgers, but Fenway Frank or Chicago Dog?
I'm going to have to go Chicago Dog. No?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. The Fenway Frank is nice. Kosuke Fukudome leads things off in the 5th. Top of the order here against Alfredo Aceves, who, making his first start since 2009, has held up despite a couple of wild moments, a couple of hit batsmen, 2 bases on balls.
Well, I think he's been effectively wild tonight. You know, nobody's going to dig in against him. He's walked a few guys, hit some batters. You know, as a hitter, you're just not running to the bat rack ready to get in the batter's box. There's a little tentativeness.
Ball and 2 strikes to Kosuke Fukudome. Well, that mist becoming more present as we wear on in through the middle innings tonight. It's darn near becoming a rain, might I add.
You may add that.
1-2 to Fukudome. So if you're going to tip your cap to the Chicago Dog, and as we compare legendary franchises.
Don't do it. Don't ask me. You know, because I'm going to have to be.
Well, no, hear me out.
I know where you're going with
this. Hear me out. How about celebrity fan base?
Oh, celebrity.
Right, because you know you peel open a People magazine, as I know you're wont to do every road trip, and you see like people are wearing either a Cubs or a Red Sox or a Yankees cap while they're pushing their kids around and going to yoga and getting their Starbucks and that whole deal. So if you were going to line up the Cub fans,
I'm going Cub. You know, probably because I'm a little biased. I was there for a year, but you know. You got to really love the Cubs. I mean, there's some Red Sox faithful that I think probably have jumped on board the last few years. Easy to do when you put some World Series titles on the list recently.
Okay.
Where would you go with it? I got to go with the all-time Cub, Bill Murray. I mean,
Bill Murray, John Cusack, the dude from Smashing Pumpkins, right there.
Eddie Vedder all the time.
Eddie Vedder, he's a Cub guy.
You just got a cross-section.
Red Sox, you got different. I think you have more
Damon
fields. Yeah, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck,
right?
Joseph Abboud from the fashion world, renowned physician Dr. Mark Zeidel, Stephen King. Special shout out to Dr. Zeidel watching tonight in Los Angeles. Still a full count. Kosuke Fukudome trying to get himself aboard to start the 5th. He has reached base safely in both of his plate appearances tonight. And taking considerable time to dig back in. And here's the payoff home for Aceves. Rolled over a ground ball to second. Pedroia scoops it and underhands it to Gonzalez, 1 away. So with 1 gone and the base is empty, it's that young developing middle infield combination for the Cubs that bat 2 and 3. Both Darwin Barney and Starlin Castro in the top 10 in batting at the start of play. And among combinations, their combined .321 average is first of any middle infield duo in the game.
Well, it's been one of the bright spots for the Cubs so far this year. Defensively, they've gotten better. Offensively, they've done a wonderful job at the top of the lineup. Castro now in the 3rd spot. But remember, Darwin Barney, he wasn't expected to be the guy at second base. I think a lot of the Cubs brass thought that Blake DeWitt would have that job, but Darwin Barney, he basically won it. He won it, and he's run with it right now.
It's a guy, after all, who's only a handful of years removed from a College World Series appearance with Oregon State University. As he fouls that pitch off to fall behind now. 1-2.
Teammates with Red Sox center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury.
I think Cub fans really love the idea of having two homegrown middle infielders climbing the ladder together and giving them perhaps a Sandberg-Dunston combination that they can hang their caps on for a long time. It's been a while since that's been the case. I mean, you'd have to go back to that duo.
Well, remember, though, Sandberg not from the Cubs, coming over from Philadelphia.
Good point. True. But they played together, I guess, long enough where at least there was consistency there.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan Sandberg traded for third base coach Ivan De Jesus of the Chicago Cubs.
You're correct. It wasn't exactly Brock for Brolio.
No,
but it was still a little lopsided.
Pretty close.
Yeah. The 1-2 from Aceves. He's thrown that backup slider effectively tonight. Missed with it that time. I can read lips when he says fastball like that. Did you see that?
He did.
Are you just going to say it?
Hey, Nolan Ryan used to do it. I mean, I know that's not Nolan Ryan out there, but he must feel he's pretty good. Here we go. Fastball.
I mean,
well, maybe the hitter's not looking.
Where's the gamesmanship?
Well, if he really wanted to do something, he'd shout it out so everybody could hear, including Darwin Barney. Then he'd be showing me something.
The next 2-2. Yeah, there are a lot of hitters that feel that way. That, you know, you could tell me what's coming and I still have to hit it. And there are a lot of guys that and you know this better than I, that don't want to know what's coming.
And the reason you don't want to know what's coming is sometimes you know that a fastball is coming and then you're all geared up. You're going to hit the fastball and it doesn't matter where it is. It might be in a bad spot. It might be out of the zone. But because it's a fastball, yeah, I'm going to swing. You still have to be disciplined.
And it's on the 8th pitch of the at-bat that Aceves strikes out Darwin Barney. So with 2 gone in the 5th, we take a look at tonight's Jeep game summary. The Cubs struck first. Their run came in the top half of the 3rd. Red Sox counter in the 4th on the 2-run home run by David Ortiz, his 300th as a Red Sox. And again, Marlon Byrd taken out of the game after being hit by a pitch in the 2nd. Took himself out of the game, quite honestly. Got up and walked right to the clubhouse. And Marlon's been taken to an area hospital for further evaluation. He did not lose consciousness, we're happy to report. 0-1 the count to Starlin Castro. Off the end of the bat into center. Jacoby Ellsbury runs it down. A 1-2-3 top of the 5th. Adrian Gonzalez bats second as we go to the bottom of the inning with the Red Sox on top 2-1.
With DirecTV, you can start watching in one room, pause, and continue watching in any other room. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
To some, water and dirt turn into mud. To others, an obstacle. But when you're genetically engineered with Jeep 4x4 capability and iconic beauty, it's more like a mud bath at the spa. The 2011 Jeep Compass, the evolution of a legendary bloodline. Well-qualified lessees can get a 2011 Jeep Compass Sport 4x2 for $239 a month.
When you've got Taco Bell's new Taco 12-pack to bring to parties, you are the party. Baby girl, I got a ticket. Do you want to go? 12 crunchy tacos from Taco Bell, boxed up for just $10. The new Taco 12-pack. Pick one up next time you throw down.
Hey, Nolan Ryan.
How you doing?
Good. You need some help on your lawn project?
It needs some big league help.
Scott's is the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. And here at Lowe's, we can show you how to get winning results at home.
I played on a lot of great fields in my day, and I want that same big league look for my lawn.
Excuse me, can I have your autograph, please?
Sure, what's your name?
Actually, his autograph, if you don't mind.
Visit your local Lowe's to cast your MLB All-Star ballot and enter to win a trip to the All-Star Game. Compliments of Scott's.
Go easy on him. He's a legend.
Fox Saturday Baseball is presented by Lowe's. Let's build something together. Together with the 37,000 plus at Fenway tonight, everybody salutes Carlton Fisk, the beloved Red Sox and Hall of Famer who's been here for the weekend. Dustin Pedroia leads things off in the home fifth. Pedroia, Gonzalez, and Youkilis. The original Pudge, if you will. Rain, stay away. My first Red Sox game is today. Why, thank you, Nipsey. All I want is for my birthday is for the Cubs to play the Red Sox in the World Series. All right. Young lady has plenty of time to see her dreams come true.
Missed that opportunity in 2003. Now, I mean, I think even if the Cubs and Red Sox did play a World Series, lose it, or it wouldn't be comparable to what it would have been in 2003. The Red Sox already winning twice.
Yeah, agreed. Starting to look more like a Patriots game out there on a cold, damp night for baseball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pedroia. That has been, unfortunately, one of the storylines in the 2011 season. The games that Mother Nature has played. 30 rainouts already this season, and we're in the middle of May. And that's already more than in all of 2010.
Is that global warming?
I'm not sure what it is.
Oh, you didn't want to go there?
No. I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe routine. 2-2 to Dustin Pedroia. Cubs have already lost 3 dates due to rain. Dustin sends a fly ball out to left center field for Reed Johnson, who makes the catch. So 1 gone for Adrian Gonzalez. We talked about Gonzalez's skill set and his considerable abilities earlier. Take a look at this. A home run against CC Sabathia over the weekend. Gonzalez told his manager he was going to do an Ichiro as he was walking to the plate for that plate appearance. Indeed, you can tell he opens up, leaks that front side, gets the running head start, and his, quote, Ichiro impersonation worked to the tune of a home run against a guy he had never had any success against previously.
Well, you know, you talk about the skill set and the ability to go do that. And what was just as amazing for me is the ability that Adrian Gonzalez has to recognize that he needs to make an adjustment, the willingness to make an adjustment when you haven't had success off of a pitcher. That's one of the things that has allowed him to be a very successful hitter at the big league level. You've got to make adjustments.
And to hear Adrian tell the story, you know, he had been 2 for 13 with 6 strikeouts against CC Sabathia in his career. It struggled against him that afternoon, 0 for 3, that night that is, and told Terry Francona, hey, you're going to see something weird, don't worry about it. And before his manager could even respond, he was digging in at the plate. I don't think he wanted to give Terry a chance to say, hey, no funny business, just get in there and swing. And it all worked out fine.
You know, I could see trying that in BP and messing around, but to do it in a Red Sox-Yankee game, again, it just speaks volumes of not only his ability, but his willingness to recognize that he needs to make a change.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes to the 3-time All-Star. Ooh. Coy Hill caught that one off the bounce right in the face mask. Yeah. Base is empty with one gone, and the next 2-2 home to Gonzalez. A full count now, 3-2. Well, when you consider to hit 30 home runs consistently, 30 plus, as Kevin Youkilis waits next, 100 plus runs batted in, playing half your games at Petco Park. The damage that Adrian Gonzalez could do potentially playing here in this ballpark and in the American League out of that NL West circuit, you could be talking about some really big numbers.
Well, you could talk about some big numbers, and let's not forget playing games at Petco Park and then playing games in San Francisco, a pitcher's park, in LA, a pitcher's park, all part of the National League West.
Pokes a base hit into right field. Time for a DirecTV game break as we check in with Chris Rose and Mitch Williams in Los Angeles.
All right, Matt, Curtis Granderson back at it again.
He's got 15 home runs this year, Rosie, but the most impressive part, 8 of the 15 are off left-handed pitching.
4 homers for the Yanks, 70 this year. That's 18 more than the next closest team. Back on out to Matt and EK.
Guys, thanks. Curtis Granderson making terrific adjustments, as Mitch points out, against left-handers in particular. They make it sound so easy in New York, right? Kevin Long says, we just shortened up his swing. There's got to be something more to it than that, right?
Well, shorten up his swing. I think they changed his base as far as his stance. Again, it's always about a willingness to make adjustments. You can be very stubborn as a hitter, especially as a veteran guy. The reality is your body changes, you change.
Behind Kevin Youkilis, and it hit him again, might I add. Kevin Youkilis wears the target when he takes a bat in his hands. Yeah, he's on top of the plate. Yeah, he's aggressive. Yeah, he's vocal. Warnings have been issued now by home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez. Eddie Rapuano, the crew chief, he's at second base, and it was Alfonso Marquez that issued the warning to both benches. Again, Marlon Byrd hit in the face in the second, and then this behind Youkilis.
Yeah, not any question that Zambrano was going after him. Again, somebody gets hit in the head or face, even if it's not intentional, which it clearly was not intentional, there will be payback.
Now here's the danger. You do that to face David Ortiz, who's homered tonight. So 2 runners aboard with only 1 gone. Kevin Youkilis gets drilled straight up. He's been hit 65 times since 2006. And by the way, that was the 72nd time he's been hit in his career. And he just passed Mo Vaughn for the franchise record.
No, and if you're going to get hit, that's the way to go right there. Just kind of grazed around the gluteus maximus. Now watch this. Mike Quade, the manager of the Cubs, 2-1. And what he's saying is, we've been hit twice. Kosuke Fukudome got hit to lead the game off. And then obviously Marlon Byrd. He's saying, look, we got 1 more. And we didn't even get him good.
Ballman 2 strikes to David Ortiz. Pitch number 100 coming up for Carlos Zambrano. I'm more obsessed with Youkilis being hit 72 times than I am pitch number 100. I mean, we're getting into, Ron Hunt, Don Baylor territory here with you. This was the number we talked about earlier regarding David Ortiz. The 2-run home run in the 4th, his 300th. Ted Williams, Yaz, Jim Rice, and Dwight Evans, the only Red Sox to have hit more. Well,
getting back to Kevin Youkilis being hit so often, again, as a hitter, you've got to go in there and you can't have happy feet. What I mean by that is you've got to go in there and establish your presence in the box. You've got to be solid. And if you can get over the fear factor, that's one of the greatest obstacles to being a good hitter, to being a great hitter. Kevin Youkilis, he doesn't care. He's in there and he's swinging.
Ortiz pops it up. Starlin Castro dealing with the wind. Carlos Zambrano thought that there were 3 outs. Big Z already made his way back into the dugout. Hey, next Saturday, one of the greatest sporting events in the world comes to Fox as Lionel Messi and Barcelona battle Wayne Rooney and Manchester U at historic Wembley Stadium. Don't miss out on 2 of soccer's greatest teams colliding in the UEFA Champions League final next Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific in high definition on Fox. Got one more man to try to get, Carlos, and that's J.D. Drew with 2 gone now.
You see Big Z, he's hustling off. He thought that there were 3 outs, but he's just so intense out there. I mean, he's up there, he's fired up, going after Youkilis. Very emotional guy.
J.D. Drew pops it in the infield. Zambrano would do this himself. Nothing comes of the hit batsman. 2 left stranded in the home 5th. We played 5 completed. Rainy Fenway. 2-1 Red Sox.
Gout's root cause is high uric acid. If you have gout, high uric acid can lead to more attacks. To help reduce attacks, lower your uric acid. Uloric lowers uric acid levels in adults with gout. It's not for the treatment of high uric acid without a history of gout. Uloric reduces uric acid to help you reach a healthy level.
Don't take Uloric if you are taking azathioprine, mercaptopurine, or theophylline. Gout may flare when starting Uloric. Don't stop taking it. Your doctor may give you other medicines to help prevent flares. A small number of heart attacks, strokes, and heart-related deaths were seen in studies. It's not certain Uloric caused them. Certain tests to check liver function may be required. Tell your doctor about liver or kidney problems or history of heart disease or stroke. The most common side effects are liver problems, nausea, gout flares, joint pain, and rash.
If you have gout, ask your doctor about Uloric.
There was a town held captive by an evil gas pump. It fed on people's hard-earned money. But along came the Michelin Man, who reminded them the right tire changes everything. And with fuel-efficient tires in place, that evil gas pump wasn't so evil anymore. Michelin Energy Saver AS tires can help save up to 109 gallons of fuel. Michelin, a better way forward.
Use your right hand, George. Now put it right above your eye. Good.
Bringing heroes home for generations. Just another reason Chevy runs deep.
Tonight's game presented by Lowe's is sponsored by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball all across the country, and by Michelin, a better way forward. Alongside Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian moving forward into the night this evening. And will do so with the new pitcher on the mound for Boston, taking over to work the top half of the 6th inning. Veteran right-hander Dan Wheeler, who was just activated from the disabled list yesterday. He missed considerable time with a left calf strain. Made a handful of rehab assignments at AAA Pawtucket and is back on the big league mound tonight. Aramis Ramirez leads off against him in the 6th. Well, Alfredo Aceves done after 5 innings tonight and leading 2-1. And despite the wildness that he battled all evening, I think for the most part the Red Sox would be pleased with the final line.
Well, they should be. held the Cubs to 1 run, was able to escape some jams. You know, it wasn't pretty, but it was effective. You know, it gets back to didn't have great control, but I think that worked to his benefit. You didn't see many of the Cubs hitters just digging in.
Ball and 2 strikes to Aramis Ramirez.
Well, Aceves very deliberate out there, taking a lot of time, but able to get that fastball by guys. Got Castro twice, a little breaking ball. You know, what we're not seeing, though, is, you know, he was moving guys off the plate. He did hit 2 guys. And what that does is you're just not comfortable in the box as a hitter.
2-2 to Ramirez now. Ramirez, Pena, and Johnson, middle of the order here for Chicago, down a run. It has been 1 step up, 1 step back for the Cubs all year. Win 1, lose 1, and staying .500 for the most part since opening day. They're a handful of games under that mark now, but the Cubs are still looking for their first winning streak of more than 2 games this year. That's amazing.
Well, I think the thing that has frustrated Mike Quade is it's not like other teams are coming in and beating the Cubs. He feels like the Cubs have beaten themselves, given games away, especially defensively. You know, it doesn't necessarily show up in the E column, but mentally making mistakes, all things that he feels can be corrected.
Still 2-2 to Ramirez. We mentioned how tomorrow night Tim Wakefield pitches the series finale for the Red Sox. Matt Garza has been a late scratch for Chicago. And as of game time tonight, Mike Quade still had not assigned that start. It's only 24 hours away.
Well, and he did mention that there wasn't going to be somebody called up from the minor leagues, and that it was probably going to be go get him from the bullpen. Well, you may have a guy throw a couple innings, somebody else come in.
Ramirez with a high drive to deep left. Crawford is there. Mother Nature took hold of that baseball, folks. Hey, that's off the wall at worst in normal conditions.
And you can see the mist, the light drizzle. He's got extension right there. He gets through the ball. Now he's thinking, at least I got a double here. Help a guy out. This thing just knocked down, doesn't even get to the warning track.
They are conditions that have been deteriorating ever since first pitch was thrown, and it's led us to that steady breeze and mist blowing right into the batter's face. 56 degrees at game time. First pitch, that is. And it's rapidly dwindling. Here's Carlos Pena now with 1 gone. And we've gone from foggy to misty.
Pleasant baseball weather. Love to hit this stuff.
Carlos Pena tonight, a couple of ground balls, mirror images of one another in the 2nd and 3rd innings. Just a 1-run ball game. By this point last night, the Red Sox were well on their way to blowing the Cubs out of the building. Carlos Zambrano has kept this a manageable deficit.
Well, I think the weather has also kept both clubs at bay. Both teams have had opportunities offensively, but again, not good hitting weather.
Two balls and no strikes to Carlos Pena to 3-0. 3-0 now. Again, the Tampa Bay Rays losers today. They've dropped 3 in a row. In terms of the NL Central, And the Cubs chasing the top of the pack. St. Louis perched atop the NL Central as per usual. And there's ball 4 to Pena. We'll talk about the NL Central in a moment. First, a reminder to check out the MLB Fan Cave at MLBFanCave.com. Many of the game's biggest stars have stopped by, including Ken Rosenthal, who came by for a short visit last week, and Tim McCarver. Check out all the videos. See who will visit the cave next. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. One out, one on for Reed Johnson. Pena not a threat to run at first, and Wheeler out of the stretch. In the Central, Cardinals were winners tonight. They beat the Royals in that interstate rivalry 3-0. Jake Westbrook got the win and improved to 4-3. So St. Louis a game and a half up on the Cincinnati Reds. Milwaukee 4 off the lead. The Brewers are in action as we speak, hosting the Rockies, the only true National League matchup tonight.
Well, and you look at those standings, and the Cubs only 4 off the pace in the loss column. So you look at it and say, oh, well, you know, it's not that bad. It could be a lot worse. But the bottom line is the Cubs are not playing good baseball. And regardless of where you are in the standings, as a manager, as an organization, as a player, you want to go out and play good baseball. The Cubs just haven't done it.
Well, they've had an opportunity to at least gain some ground on the Reds, on Cincinnati. They've dropped 4 in a row. And that just has not been the case. Again, Cubs looking for their first 3-game winning streak. They have not been able to string together 3 straight wins. 3 balls and no strikes here, as Dan Wheeler is working rather slowly. Ex-Cub Rich Hill up in the bullpen behind him. Now, you knew the bullpens were going to play a role at some point tonight. Certainly for the Red Sox, with Aceves making his first start in 2 years. And there's a strike, 3-1. Sarcastic round of applause. Look at that dude with no jacket. Tell that guy it's misting out.
All he needs is a cold beer. He'd be locked in. He must have heard you.
He knows. He just didn't bring one. He's not being a tough guy. He just didn't have one. 3 balls and a strike to Reed Johnson. Pena off first with 1 gone. Full count now. Alfonso Soriano waiting next. That's quite a weapon in the 7-hole. The ability to DH Soriano and bat him to start the bottom third of your order. He might have a chance to swing it with runners on here. Runner goes. Pitch is taken for a strike. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. Mike Quaddy rolls the dice. I want to see what that looked like again. Yep. Nothing in the Chicago 6th.
People we're depending on need something they can depend on. Chevy Silverado, with a powertrain back for 100,000 miles. The most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road.
So this is Enzo, the artiste behind my wardrobe. You know, when I got him on E-Trade, he was all like, "Oh no, I cannot do investing." That's actually a perfect Enzo. But after a couple educational videos and a little hand-holding from customer support, next thing you know, he's got a stunning portfolio. Now he's planning to retire in Tuscany. We're both pretty emotional about it. Shh. Don't say a word. You're welcome.
E-Trade. Investing unleashed.
Spicy, crispy, peppery, chickeny, yummy, only $1. I like your messy hair. I like the clothes you wear. I like the way you sing. And when you dance with me, you always make.
We believe you're at your best when you can relax and be yourself. And at thousands of newly refreshed Holiday Inn hotels, you always can. Holiday Inn. Stay you. And now stay rewarded with vacation pay. Stay 2 weekend nights and get a $75 prepaid card.
Gather round, y'all. I'll sing you a song about our MVP, the amazing team mom. She rides on Firestones and always comes through, even been known to fix a boo-boo or two. Firestone. From practice to the game and back again, her Firestone tires are a mom's best friend. One sweet way to ride, a weigher at home. Behind every great team, there's a great team mom.
Firestone. Legendary drivers need legendary tires.
Carlos Zambrano back to work, bottom of the 6th inning, still trailing by a run. He gets Jed Lowry, Carl Crawford, and Jason Varitek, and didn't get any help from his lineup in the last half inning, Eric.
No, Reed Johnson on a 3-2 pitch, a fastball right down the middle. You see him put his hands over his head. You know, he's not questioning the call, and you see Pena out easily. Reed Johnson not questioning the call. It happens. You just freeze up at the plate, and then you're just hoping that the umpire misses the call. Because you know that time in between you taking the pitch and him going strike 3 just seems like an eternity.
Well, the Cubs with a chance. They had a reliever fresh off the disabled list. A runner aboard with 1 gone, and they play themselves right out of a scoring opportunity. Ball and 2 strikes now to Jed Lowry. I think that's been a song they've heard before in Chicago. Lowry tried to check his swing but went around. Second strikeout of the ball game for Carlos Zambrano.
Big Z pitching like an ace tonight. It's an off speed that Lowry can't hold up. You know, outside of that fastball to Ortiz, Zambrano has pitched extremely well. Protecting his ball club as well. Going after Youkilis. After 2 Cubs hitters were hit today.
Carl Crawford has reached on a fielder's choice, and there's a fastball he can't catch up to at 90 miles an hour. Back to what we discussed earlier. That's a BP fastball up there.
But again, I don't think it's so much a physical issue as it is not confident, guessing.
There's a base hit for Carl with 1 gone. Hey, play Fox Baseball Hot Streak and win cash prizes. It's as easy for me to say. You want to read this? I got a hairball.
You play Fox Baseball Hot Streak and win cash prizes. It's as easy as picking a player, picking a stat, and starting a hot streak. Plus, you pick 15 straight correctly and win $15 in Fox Sports shopping bucks. What can you get with that, Maddie? Log on to foxsports.com/fantasy and start your streak today.
I get some lozenges. Here's Jason Varitek now with Crawford aboard. Look out.
That's karma for getting on that yeller earlier today in the 3rd inning. Coming back to get you, Matty.
Okay. I'll take that. Varitek singled back in the 4th. We got to stay heads up at this ballpark. Fans are right on top of the action. Photographers are right on top of the action.
That's always surprised me here in Wrigley Field, that there weren't more injuries in the stands on foul balls.
that very impactful story of Jim Rice in his playing day here at Fenway Park on a ball that was hit just above the Red Sox dugout, and Jim Rice popping out to see what happened with that foul ball, seeing a young child that had been hit who was very seriously injured, and the Hall of Famer picked the child right up out of his seat, brought him into the clubhouse, and got the child medical attention that without which things would have been a lot worse. Two balls and a strike to Varitek.
You see Zambrano 2 pitches ago. You see him throwing just a little knee issue maybe, and a little quad. Just didn't come off the mound smooth. Pitching coach Riggins and manager Quade watching intently.
A strike to Varitek to fill the count 3-2. Well, if you're wondering who's going to start tomorrow for the Cubs, it's not going to be Sean Marshall if he gets into the ball game tonight. The big left-hander is up. They send Crawford with 1 away, and it's still a full count now, 3-2. So if it's an in-house candidate that's going to start tomorrow, and that's what we're assuming will happen in place of Matt Garza, James Russell has started. He pitched last night. Jeff Samardzija has started in his career. He pitched last night. Carlos Marmol's not going to start. There's ball 4 to Varitek. John Grabo would be a candidate tomorrow.
Well, you know, regardless, whoever gets the nod, you're looking at maybe 2, possibly 3 innings. And it's going to be a game by the bullpen.
Mike Quade comes out to talk with his staff ace now. Mike, a very animated, very direct manager. You indicated that earlier, Eric, and he has a very quick conversation with his right-hander, and it's right back into the dugout.
Yeah, very blunt, right to the point. Not going to sugarcoat anything. Wants to know how you're doing. You know, in a situation like this, though, you know, if you're the manager and you're going out and asking a guy like Zambrano, how you doing, how you feeling, you know the answer you're going to get. You have to have your mind made up before you go out there what you're going to do, because Zambrano will not take himself out of a ball game.
Saw the pitch count, 118. That's a season-high workload for the right-hander. And it's the top of the order now, Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury was put on base in the first on the catcher's interference call and stole his 15th of the year. It's amazing how he is, in such a short time, climbed the franchise ranks. That's going to be trouble. Into right field in front of Fukudome. They're going to wave Crawford around. No play at the plate. 3-1 Red Sox.
Ellsbury gets that fastball out over the plate, and he's ready. Drives that thing out into right field. Fukudome coming over, making a strong throw, but no chance in getting the speedy Crawford. And he even hesitates. He's not even turning it on until he gets around third, and still no contest.
That looked like second gear for Carl. Dustin Pedroia now hitless tonight after a 2-for-4 opener yesterday. Sox trying to add on. A great play by Pena. They get the out at second base. Ellsbury erased. And that's a ball that could have been trouble on the right side.
Pena doing a nice job of ranging to his right. Nice toss.
That'll be all for Carlos Zambrano. He doesn't want to hand over the onion.
This is dedicated to a guy we all know who taught you how to hit and how to throw. A bona fide star as coaches go, keeps the team moving on his Firestone. The players, umpires, folks in the stands see the Firestone performance and think it's grand. So here's to the coach and his Firestone 4 for taking us out to the ball game and more.
Firestone. Legendary drivers need legendary tires.
She has this thing about bugs.
No. I do not have a thing about bugs. I have a thing about bugs in our house.
We used to call him Exterminator.
Oh, now I go Ortho. Home Defense Max. I use it once inside to kill the bugs.
Stops them dead.
Guaranteed. And outside to keep new ones from moving in. That's up to 12 months protection against bugs.
And 12 months of keeping our house to ourselves.
Until your mother comes.
Right. Ortho Home Defense Max.
Defend what's yours.
You asked for it, America. Pizza Hut's $10 any deal is back. Any pizza, any size, any crust, any toppings is just $10 when you carry out. Are you ready? Because we are.
Pizza Hut's $10 any deal is back. Any pizza, any size, any crust, any toppings is now just $10 when you carry out. Get all of your favorites for just $10 each. But hurry in, this deal is for a limited time only. Only at your Pizza Hut.
Josh.
What's up, boss?
What's up?
Give it a try.
Rip it. Oh! Josh, this is a rarity.
Hey, it's all right. Get back in there, babe.
Come on.
A little rusty.
Hey, guys, this new batting practice jersey, it's not working. It's broken.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Let me try mine.
Okay. Wow.
Mine's working fine.
Introducing the new MLB Authentic Collection batting practice jersey by Majestic. Now you can look like your favorite player, even if you can't play like him.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Welcome back to Fox Saturday Baseball in prime time, presented by Lowe's. Let's build something together. Like a roof and a heater. Runners at the corners with 2 gone, and after the pitching change, it's going to be the responsibility of left-hander Sean Marshall to try to limit this at just 1 run in the 6th. Carlos Zambrano removed in the 6th inning after throwing 121 pitches, his biggest workload in over a year. And it's a lefty-lefty matchup with runners at the corners and 2 out.
Marshall doing a nice job this year. You see 19 strikeouts, only 4 walks. Situational guy. Early on in his career, a starter. There's Big Z's numbers, 122 pitches, but he really gave a great effort out there. You know, that's something that, you know, every time he takes a hill, he's going to give you his best. Again, that home run to Ortiz, really the only bad pitch of the evening.
Gonzalez chopping that one foul. Trying to serve Marshall into the opposite field.
Again, that's just waiting for the ball to travel deep into the zone. He's not trying to hit the ball out in front, staying back. You mentioned you use that wall to his advantage out in left field. You hit a fly ball and you bounce that thing off of it.
Gonzalez only 1 for 7 against Marshall in previous meetings. And behind here, a ball and 2 strikes. Pedroia runs, no throw down to second. And Dustin has himself his 9th bag of the year. So Varitek at third and Pedroia at second. A couple of runners in scoring position. These are situations where Sean Marshall has really tightened up. Not a huge sample size, but opponents are just 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. against the veteran southpaw.
Again, discussing what to do with Adrian Gonzalez. Got him 2-2. I tend to go after him. You don't want to mess around and try and just pick a corner. Kevin Youkilis, a right-handed hitter, up next, and swinging the bat just as well, if not better, than Gonzalez.
For that reason, it's not a dumb stolen base attempt by Dustin Pedroia. In a different lineup with somebody else on deck, you'd question that, because then Marshall would simply walk Adrian Gonzalez. That's grounded out to shortstop. Starlin Castro gathers it in, and it all works out for Chicago. Only one in the Boston sixth. Big Z likes the support. We'll return to Boston after a break from your local Fox station.
You're watching Major League Baseball on Fox.
Dahl, Ford, and the Quad Cities. A perfect match for over 73 years. Ford sets the pace with industry-leading quality and cutting-edge technology. The Dahl family brings a history of integrity and guest service. And the Quad Cities has always been a great place to live and do business, especially Ford business. Dahl, Ford, and the Quad Cities. A perfect match for over 73 years. This is Dahl Ford Country, home of 120% Kelley Blue Book for your trade.
Culver's Fresh Frozen Custard starts with real Wisconsin dairy from more than 100 family farms. So better milk comes from doing what?
Better feed, quality environment. We've got the rolling hills.
We are the dairy state.
We make our fresh frozen custard in small batches throughout the day, every day. So it's lusciously creamy and so much more decadent than ice cream.
People here know what frozen custard is, but some folks have never heard of it.
I'll bet the farm they love it.
Say hello to new mini concrete mixers. Welcome to Delicious.
I was just driving around, minding my own business. When it came out of nowhere, suddenly there were lights all around me. I'm like, they're coming for me. Yeah, it was crazy. I just never thought they'd find me. Not out here.
It doesn't matter where you drive. If you don't buckle up, you will get caught. Cops are cracking down all across the country. Click it or ticket.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And little man, little Lola wants you. Make up your mind tonight.
One day a Pepsi, please.
No regret.
What's going on over there?
Doctors Feel Good TV. Weekdays at 5 on Fox 18.
Into the back third as the Red Sox lead the Cubs 3-1. Boston trying to win their 8th straight in this middle game of the 3-game set with Chicago. Historically speaking, it's a big one. First appearance at Fenway for the Chicago Cubs since the 1918 World Series. Here we are 93 years later, and Cubs might be willing to wait another 93 before they come back here. Alfonso Soriano leads things off in the top of the 7th. Soriano, DeWitt, and Hill. Dan Wheeler will stay out there for a second inning in relief. Teams hosting that 1918 World Series with the throwback uniforms. For those of you that might have just stumbled upon us casually channel surfing tonight, Rich Hill and Matt Albers now up in the bullpen for Boston behind Dan Wheeler. The Red Sox bullpen is in relatively good shape, even considering Jonathan Papelbon and Daniel Bard had worked in 2 straight before getting a night off yesterday. And Papelbon was hit with a comebacker 2 nights ago. Soriano grounds to third. And 1 gone here in the 7th. Fox Sports is proud to support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research that helps accelerate treatment to patients. To learn more, please visit standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. With Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian, the middle game of this 3-game set. And Eric, when you get beyond all the historical components, the two storied franchises, 93 years between visits for the Cubs, it's back to baseball. And for the Red Sox, a chance to make it 8 straight wins.
Yeah, and they've been playing well. They've been doing it offensively. They've been doing it defensively. They've been getting some good pitching. I think they're playing like everybody thought that they would play at the beginning of the season.
And a pitching change for the Red Sox as a former Cub makes his way into the line score. We'll be right back.
This is the Nexus S 4G, the first phone that's Googled to the core with Sprint's super fast 4G speed. A phone this powerful can do almost anything. So now, we can fill the internet with even more cats. With 4G speed, the latest version of Android, and the best Google apps, cats can be searched, watched, and shared faster than ever. The Nexus S 4G, only from Sprint, America's favorite 4G network.
Give yourself an edge. One A Day Men's Pro Edge. A complete multivitamin with more magnesium to help support healthy muscle function, more B vitamins to help convert food to fuel, more confidence in a healthy you. One A Day Men's Pro Edge.
Hey, I'm Troy Polamalu, and I owe my great hair to Head & Shoulders. It gives me a healthy scalp and great-looking hair.
You making fun of me? No. You making fun of me? Yes.
Head & Shoulders, 7 benefits, 1 bottle.
How are you? Head on into the interview.
What's it like driving the Fusion Hybrid?
You can read every system that is operating by pushing a button. It's like driving a computer.
What would be the hardest thing for you to give up?
The miles per gallon, the fuel. When you're used to filling your car up once a week, then suddenly once every 3 weeks, believe me, it'll be a big difference going back.
You got all of that one.
Well, he got all of that one, didn't he?
Aye.
You got all of that one. Yeah, I did.
Guess I got all that one.
Prince Fielder, epic power hitter.
New pitcher for the Red Sox is former Cub left-hander Rich Hill. In fact, you could not think of a guy who maybe better symbolizes all the history in this matchup than someone who's pitched for both teams and someone who was born right here in Boston. Spent the past 6 years as Cubs property, signed as a minor league free agent in the middle of last year, and has gotten off to a good start this year with the Red Sox. His 1-1 to Blake DeWitt is lifted in the air and slicing into the seats.
Well, one of the areas that the Red Sox have been trying to shore up is that left-handed relief role in the bullpen. Rich Hill has done a nice job. Very difficult against left-handed hitters. Stands over by the first base side of the rubber and then steps towards the first base side, almost slings across his body. As a hitter, you almost feel like the release point is from behind you if you are a left-handed hitter.
And a swing and a miss by Blake DeWitt. Rich Hill strikes out the first Cub he faces here in the 7th.
I mean, check this out. This is not a lot of fun if you're a hitter. You see he's over on the first base side. There's a left-handed hitter. You're watching him, and watch the release point. Far over to the first base side. Almost feels like he's throwing behind you. Very tough to stay in, keep that front side. That's why he's had success this year against the lefties.
Rich Hill facing catcher Coy Hill, the switch hitter, who is batting from the right side of the plate with 2 gone and the base is empty. A run on just 3 hits for Chicago tonight. In addition to the RBI single by Aramis Ramirez. Base hits by Darwin Barney and Alfonso Soriano. All 3 hits singles. And that's not to say the Cubs have not had opportunities. 1-1 on a breaking ball that catches the inside corner. When Rich Hill shared a bullpen with Sean Marshall, as he had the last number of years with the Cubs, it gave Chicago 2 of the bigger left-handed relievers in baseball. Two and two now. Rich is listed at 6'5", 205. And again, as we mentioned, born right here in Boston. Top of the order next for the Chicago Cubs. And if you're Mike Quade, you're thinking you want to get at least one more pass for Pena and Soriano, which they'll have the chance to do. Certainly with Pena, somebody's going to have to get on base if Alfonso Soriano swings the bat again tonight.
Well, they've had some guys on base. It's, as you mentioned earlier, it's not as if they haven't had scoring opportunities. But again, runners in scoring position. It's dogged them all year. It's dogging them tonight.
There's a base hit for Coy Hill. Tying run comes to the plate now in the form of Kosuke Fukudome. Fukudome has walked, been hit by a pitch, and scored that 1 Cub run back in the 3rd. Still looking for his first home run of 2011.
Well, Fukudome, the one thing he has done is get on base at a clip well over 400. But driving the ball, extra base hits, slugging, just not there this year.
I don't think there's any 2 ways around the fact that the Cubs privately would have to be disappointed in the lack of power. This is a guy who in his Japanese League career was hitting 34, 28, 31 home runs prior to coming stateside.
Well, again, we talked about the Soriano deal where that was kind of hamstrung the Cubs, but this deal hasn't worked out. The Milton Bradley deal did not work out. Those are things that, again, one deal is tough enough, but when there's a couple of them, you don't have a lot of room to maneuver.
34 home runs over 3+ years. And when you get to the posting fee, and that's the amount of money that the U.S. club has to pay the Japanese club just to talk to the player, and that's a significant amount of money. And then the deal. They put a lot of money on the table to bring Kosuke Fukudome to Chicago. And they were one of a number of interested parties. It was important for Fukudome at the time to come to a club that had not yet had a Japanese League star. So that ruled out the Mariners, among other teams. He wanted to be the first guy from Japan in a major market city like Chicago. That ruled out San Diego, too small a market. They were interested back at the time. The player held the hammer. He knew he was a very hot commodity. 2 balls and 2 strikes, trying to keep this 7th inning alive. Full count, 3-2. He was fooled there.
We talked about it earlier, how difficult it is for a left-handed hitter, but look at that release point. That is well over by the second baseman, and then it looks like it ends up on the outside part of the plate.
A swing and a miss. He struck him out. Couple of strikeouts from the reliever, ex-Cub Rich Hill, exacting some revenge on the former employer.
Extraordinary adventures begin as a glimmer in your mind. It travels and your heart begins to race. And wherever you want to go, you can get there. The 2011 Jeep Wrangler. Adventure is never ordinary.
If you don't have an iPhone, you don't have the largest selection of games on any phone. From your favorite classics to the latest and greatest. And you don't have Game Center, where you can find your friends wherever they are, challenge them to a game, and play head-to-head to head. Yep, if you don't have an iPhone, well, you don't have an iPhone.
Bro, where's your car? It's okay. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Oh, hey, Jake.
My car got jacked.
I got it.
Ladies, guess you're walking. You got those figures for me yet?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there with an intern. Nice work.
Casual Wednesdays!
Oh, what?
State Farm agents are there when you need them.
Rough, dry skin taking over? There's an easy way to fix that. New Lubriderm Men's 3-in-1. The first and only body, face, post-shave lotion in one bottle.
Do something different?
New Lubriderm Men's 3-in-1.
Spicy, crispy, peppery, chickeny, yummy, only $1.
Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Lowe's is sponsored by Jeep and by Burger King, now offering $1 frozen drinks. Back with Eric Karros, Matt Vasgersian. 3-1 for the Red Sox. Rich Hill is all smiles. The former Cub striking out a pair of ex-mates and keeping the 3-1 Boston lead in check. Sean Marshall continues. He came on in relief of Carlos Zambrano in the 6th. And here in the 7th, he gets Kevin Youkilis, David Ortiz, and J.D. Drew. On a misty night such as this, Kevin Youkilis might be seen wiping off the barrel of his bat underneath his armpit or between his legs. Thank you, Yuka. He is not a superstitious guy per se, but believes that he needs to keep the barrel of the bat dry in order to have the greatest effect. And this is something that I talked to his hitting coach about. Oh, my goodness. Aramis Ramirez just kept going like he was on skates. Did that ball take a right turn on him?
It did. I don't know if it hit the base or hit some part of the dirt. But watch this. Aramis Ramirez going to make the play on the line, and then it just takes a turn. It hit the grass part. Yeah, it's going down the line, and it hit that grass cutoff and just did a right turn. Aramis Ramirez heading over towards the line. That is sweet. When you're going good, you get those sort of things. That is beautiful.
You know why? Because the barrel of the bat was dry.
You are not lying.
Here's David Ortiz with Youkilis aboard to start the inning on a rather unusual looking leadoff single. At any point, I talked to Dave Magadan about that, about how Youkilis dries off the barrel of the bat. Not everybody does that. Dave said that he himself as a player used to do that. And the thought is you want as much friction on contact as possible. I'm not sure that that's scientifically proven to be true.
Sounds good in theory, though, because you think if the bat head is wet, the ball might slip off of the barrel. Just like if you're hitting a golf club and you're hitting a ball with a golf club, I don't see too many guys oiling those clubs up, getting them all wet before you go hit a ball.
That one gets away from Hill. Free 90 feet for Youkilis.
This pitch just tails away from Hill, doesn't hit the dirt or anything, just unable to move to get in front of it or get his glove on it. It's a big run out, though. You're only talking about a guy getting on and a home run. You could tie the ball game if you're the Cubs.
3 balls and no strikes to David Ortiz. You know, I went to Peter Gammons yesterday, who is the definitive authority on just about everything regarding this sport. And I mean that. And I asked Peter about that. Had he ever heard of a guy wiping off his bat so dutifully in mist or rain or fog? And he said Pete Rose used to do that. Broken bat hopper to second base. Barney in the adjusted shift throws out Ortiz. And now the 2 participants can talk about the Minnesota Fat style English that was on that base hit a moment ago. One away, a runner at third for J.D. Drew. He'll have a rare opportunity to hit against a left-handed reliever. Cubs will bring the infield in with 1 gone. Breaking ball for a strike. This is not your everyday opportunity here for JD. Different score, different circumstance, and Terry Francona goes to his bench here. For Castro, and 2 away. Visit your local Lowe's to cast your Scott's MLB All-Star ballot and enter for a chance to win a VIP All-Star Week experience. Compliments of Scott's. You want to know why Pete Rose used to wipe off the barrel of his bat?
I bet you're going to tell me.
I was hoping for the follow-up question, but let me tell you why. It's because apparently that's how he felt he could go back, and in the day before so much video technology was out there, that's how he could judge how he was swinging the bat, by the mark it left, by the mark the ball left on his clean bat head. They're going to intentionally walk Jed Lowry and face Carl Crawford. So the switch hitter being given the 4 wide ones, and they'll take their chances with the left-handed hitter next.
Well, I'll go with you on that. Sometimes when you do hit a ball in the barrel of the bat, you'll get the writing where it says official Major League Baseball or, you know, Commissioner Bud Selig. That will actually imprint on your bat.
And I guess if it's you know, smudged,
right,
skidded somehow, you might be able to tell you're late. You might be able to tell if you're early.
I don't know about that, though. I mean, you're going to have to scrub that thing down pretty good. That's not just putting it between your legs or under your arm. It's not coming off that easy.
Runners at the corners now, and a chance for Carl Crawford, who is 1 for 3 tonight. He drove in 2 runs yesterday in the series opener. Sean Marshall trying to keep this a 2-run game. When we go to the 8th, Barney, Castro, and Ramirez. So that means the likes of Pena and Soriano will in fact have another chance for Chicago. And it punctuates the point you made earlier, Eric, that is a big run out there at third base.
Yeah, those guys coming up with a runner on. Both of them have the ability to get it out of the ballpark, but you're going to need two guys on if Youkilis scores.
Crawford facing Sean Marshall for the first time in his career tonight. And is in front 2-1. Action in both bullpens as the wheels are in motion here late. Carl checks his swing, confirmed on the appeal, and now it's 3 balls and a strike.
As you mentioned, Carl Crawford, not a lot of hits this year, but he has had some big ones in some big situations. This right here would be another one.
The veteran Kerry Wood up in the Chicago bullpen. As was the case for J.D. Drew, the left-handed plate appearance for Carl Crawford. Perhaps not as rare as they are for Drew. But when you consider Terry Francona's doing everything he can to put him in a position to succeed, it's happened this year where Carl has been pinch hit for late in the game. Last year, Crawford hit .256 against left-handed pitching. This year, that number's at .130. But all the numbers are down across the board, something the Red Sox feel confident will change. Here is the 3-1. Sharply hit to second. A good play by Barney. Throw to first is picked out by Pena, and Sean Marshall does, in fact, keep it a 2-run game. Starlin Castro hits second as we go to the top of the 8th. It's still 3-1 Red Sox.
There was a town held captive by an evil gas pump. It fed on people's hard-earned money. But along came the Michelin Man, who reminded them the right tire changes everything. And with fuel-efficient tires in place, that evil gas pump wasn't so evil anymore. Michelin Energy Saver AS tires can help save up to 109 gallons of fuel. Michelin, a better way forward.
It injects tiny droplets of fuel directly into the combustion chamber, so you get up to 40 miles per gallon highway. Enjoy every drop. The all-new Ford Focus.
Spicy, crispy, peppery, chickeny, yummy, only $1.
Can I help you?
Are these tablets?
Mom, allow me. Are these tablets flash ready?
Yes.
Which ones?
These, including the Samsung Galaxy Tab.
What about movies?
Straight from Android market to the Motorola Zoom.
4G upgradable.
4G LTE upgradable.
You always wear glasses?
Only when I'm not wearing contacts.
He's clean. My job's done.
A wide selection of tablets at great prices from the people who know them best. Verizon.
0 calories. Maximum Pepsi taste.
Great save, kid. You deserve this.
Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball.
When you give it one of over 10,000 voice commands,
Temperature 72 degrees.
an amazing thing happens. It listens. The all-new Ford Focus with class exclusive Sync with My Ford Touch.
Welcome back to Fox Saturday Baseball in primetime, presented by Lowe's. Let's build something together. 3-1 Boston as we've reached the top half of the 8th, and the Red Sox go back to the bullpen. Right-hander Matt Albers takes over to work the top of the 8th inning. He gets Barney, Castro, and Ramirez, a trio of right-handed swingers trying to preserve the 3-1 lead here late. Matt Albers last worked here on Thursday night and earned a hold with a scoreless inning against the Tigers. First pitch fastball is in for a strike. Darwin Barney with a single and a base on balls tonight. One and one. In the midst of a terrific beginning to his rookie year. First across the board, batting average, hits, on base percentage.
Let's take a look at that play. Yeah, Darwin Barney making a nice play on Carl Crawford, ranging to his right, then making the transfer. Nice throw over to first base, and he's pumped about making the play. You know, Carl Crawford, I think he thought that ball got through to right field. You watch him, he's on the grass. He's thinking about rounding first base, and then he realizes Barney's picked that ball, and it's, hey, get back on the dirt and get going. Barney fired up. He made the play.
2 balls and 2 strikes to him now. Darwin Barney came into this series having heard a lot about the notoriously difficult Fenway Park infield, and told us before the game he was pleasantly surprised at how cleanly it plays. And there's a clean single to open the visitors' 8th.
Good young hitter trying to just get on base. This ball really down the middle of the plate, but because he's waiting the ball to travel, he's got 2 strikes basically protecting. Fires that ball, line drive out to right field. A nice job by the young man.
Starlin Castro now. He has been rather quiet tonight by his own standards, and for the series for that matter. 0 for 8 here in almost 2 nights in Boston. Barney aboard to start the inning. And a strike to Starlin Castro.
Well, Castro's job right now is to stay out of the double play. The reason I say that is he wants to at least give the middle of this lineup the ability to tie this ball game with 1 swing.
Starlin Castro last year the first Cub rookie to hit at least 300 and finish in the National League's top 10 in batting average since Bill Madlock in 1974. With a rookie at first base, Castro checks his swing, but is guilty of going around, and it's 0-2 to him now. Starlin Castro's been bounced around in the order a lot this year. In fact, Mike Quade has used a lot of different combinations. As we mentioned, 36 different versions of a lineup in 44 games. Castro has gone from the leadoff spot to the 2-hole, batting 3rd tonight. And on an 0-2 slider, he's got a base hit that'll put runners at the corners with nobody out.
Well, just as we saw Darwin Barney go the other way, this is a 2-strike pitch, breaking ball in the outer half. Castro not trying to do too much with it. Staying on it, looking outside, and shooting it to right center. These are 2 young hitters. You usually don't see that until after a couple of years in the big leagues. This guy's already a good understanding.
Nobody up in the Boston bullpen behind Matt Albers. Nobody out. Runners at the corners for Aramis Ramirez. This is interesting now because Carlos Pena's on deck. And one would guess that Terry Francona would like to have a southpaw available for him. Rich Hill has already been used. Franklin Morales was added to the Red Sox roster yesterday. He was acquired Thursday night in a deal with Colorado. So there is one more left-handed bullet out there for the Red Sox. Cubs have their best opportunity to score here since the third, when they pushed across their one and only tally. 2 balls and no strikes to Ramirez. Ramirez has been incredibly productive at third base. And when one considers the franchise history, he occupies a very prominent spot with the Cubs. Just the third Cub third baseman ever to drive in 100 runs in a season. And we all know about the big numbers between the legendary late Ron Santo and Aramis Ramirez. Between the Steve Buechels and the Gary Scotts, a lot of bodies had been used down there.
Well, that's the thing. When he was acquired from the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2003, he really has solidified that position. As you mentioned, during the 90s, it was a revolving door over there at third base. At Kevin Ory's, at Gary Scott's.
Kevin Ory, nice.
Thank you. But just nobody able to take that position, and Aramis Ramirez done a wonderful job for coming up close to a decade.
The 2-2. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Carlos Pena waiting next, and this is Matt Albers' jam to try to get out of. Nobody up in the bullpen behind him. Cub fans making noise on a rare occasion in the series so far. Singles by Barney and Castro have started the inning. And now the 3-2 home. Again, nobody out here in the 8th. The next 3-2. And Ramirez battling to hang around.
Doing a nice job, fouling off some tough pitches and hoping to, by continuing this at bat, that Albers makes a mistake. Leaves one out over the plate, something he can drive. You continue the base hit go around.
Ramirez singled in that one Cub run back in the 3rd. This will be the 9th pitch of the plate appearance. Bear in mind, after Carlos Pena, it's not Marlon Byrd, but Reed Johnson. Well, it's the second time in this at bat that Matt Albers has gone to the Sutcliffe move, that old fake to third, fake to first. And I can't tell if it's Cub fans making all that noise or even if the Red Sox nation is getting a little tired.
Yeah, that's not a good move. I mean, there are a few guys that could pull it off, but that's not good right there. And you talk about that third to first move, and as a fan or a broadcaster or whoever, you get frustrated watching it, even as a player. There was a pitcher, Mike Fetters, that used to be able to do that. I mean, I'd be holding the guy on at first base and he'd pull that move and he'd get me breaking off the bag. That guy, he was good.
Here we go again. The next full count pitch home is fouled away once more. A 10-pitch at bat so far with Aramis Ramirez. Finals all over the interleague scoreboard on this Saturday. Going to get you out to Los Angeles for a DirecTV game break in just a bit. First, the next 3-2 offering. Ball 4, and that loads the bases with nobody out. On cue, we check in with Chris Rose and Mitch Williams for a DirecTV game break.
Guys, the Yankees leave the yard 4 more times today, including A-Rod.
You know, you look at this swing of A-Rods, and there's very few hitters in the league that can make it look like they get fooled and still hit the ball out of the ballpark.
7-3 the final over the Mets, and the Yankees temporarily pull into a first-place tie with the Rays and the Red Sox atop the AL East.
Guys, thanks. Look at how busy that division is. My goodness, A.J. Burnett picks up the victory tonight for New York, improving to 5-3. As Kurt Young goes out to chat with his right-hander here, who has found himself in quite a fix. Singles by Barney and Castro, and then after a long at-bat, a base on balls issued to Aramis Ramirez. What a wonderful job Ramirez did.
Fought off a number of tough pitches, prolonged the at-bat, and then patient enough to take the walk. You know, a lot of times you get in that swing mode, and Ramirez able to lay off the 3-2 pitch. All right, runners in scoring position. Carlos Pena up, and he has struggled this year. Cubs would like to see him get hot right now.
Well, you have to think that Carlos Pena had one eye on that Red Sox bullpen the last couple of plate appearances to see if, in fact, there'd be a left-hander stirring. The splits are very exaggerated for Carlos for his career, and this year in particular. Batting .284 against right-handers, 2 for 30 against lefties at the start of play. And he's got a chance here against the right-handed throwing Matt Albers. Bases loaded, nobody out. The 0-1. A ball and a strike. Well, that didn't miss by much.
No, good discipline right there. I don't know if it was good discipline or just I can't hit that.
They're the splits we talked about a moment ago. 4 of the 5 home runs for Pena this year have come against right-handers. Nothing new. Perhaps not that exaggerated in the past. These have been situations that have been very trying to Carlos with runners aboard. Right-handed or left-handed adversary hitting just a .139 with runners in scoring position this year. And that's the second lowest average in the big leagues among players with at least 30 at-bats. Two and one. Barney at third, Castro at second, Ramirez the runner at first. And again, Reed Johnson waiting next. There's a strike to make it 2-2.
This pitch right down at the knees, maybe a little low. Yeah, right at the knees, a good pitch. But the previous two pitches could have gone either way.
Previous meetings, Pena 2 for 9 against Matt Albers. The 2-2 pitch. He rides a fastball high, and now it's a full count. But Matt Albers really laboring here. Nothing coming easy for him. And I think Cub fans and Red Sox fans alike are taking the cue to rise to their feet. Fans enduring Mother Nature's nastiness tonight. And a dramatic moment late this evening.
Came right at him with the fastball, not messing around, right down the middle of the plate. This is where, as a hitter, though, you've really got to be disciplined, because it's very easy to think, okay, he's got to throw me a strike. He's not going to walk me, and you get in that swing mode.
This will be the 25th pitch of the inning by Matt Albers. Ball 4, he walked in a run. There seems to be some confusion on the field. I'm not sure what was being debated out there. Ball 4 with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they knew what the count was out there. Well, Barney thought, yeah, okay, I'm going in, and then I don't think Pena was heading down to first too quickly. Better to be sure.
As a staff now for the Red Sox, that's 5 bases loaded walks this year. And that ties Boston with the Twins and Blue Jays for the most in the American League.
And Reed Johnson has got it. If this pitch isn't down the middle, you can't swing. That's good. That's a good approach right there.
Good bases loaded numbers for Reed Johnson. Again, playing tonight because Marlon Byrd was hit in the face with a pitch in the second. And just to restate, Byrd was taken to a local hospital for evaluation. He never lost consciousness tonight. And it's been Johnson in his stead since the second inning. Bases loaded with a run in and nobody out. Johnson with a shot to left. That ball hit well and off the monster scoreboard. 2 runs will score, and the Chicago Cubs have taken an 8th inning lead.
Reed Johnson's been doing it all year for the Chicago Cub ball club. Gets a high fastball, drives it to left center, bounces off the wall, 2 RBI. But the most impressive thing about this at bat, he had the discipline to go up and take the first pitch.
Here's Alfonso Soriano, who takes a first pitch strike. Cubs back on top, 4-3 Chicago. The first 3 hitters to come to the plate in the 8th have come around to score. Still nobody out. Infield in for Boston. Pena the runner at third. Johnson at second.
Again, Soriano doesn't have to be the hero here. All he's got to do is make good solid contact, preferably to the right side. Drive it to the big part of the outfield, right center.
The Red Sox bullpen is now busy with Franklin Morales up. The recently acquired left-hander Added to the roster yesterday, and the deal consummated with Colorado. And Soriano sends a fly ball into very shallow left. Lowry drops it. Oh my! "5-3 Chicago on a dropped pop-up. It's just a straight clank. A wild turn of events in the 8th. A Red Sox pitching change. We'll be right back.
It's me. I'm coming home.
When? The days of the industry. I know I'm not the only one. So I'm going.
Extraordinary adventures begin as a glimmer in your mind. It travels, and your heart begins to race. And wherever you want to go, you can get there. The 2011 Jeep Wrangler. Adventure is never ordinary.
A lot of times things are right underneath our feet, and all we need to do is change the way we're thinking about them. A couple decades ago, we didn't even realize just how much natural gas was trapped in rocks thousands of feet below us. Technologies made it possible to safely unlock this cleaner burning natural gas. These deposits can provide us with fuel for 100 years, providing energy security and economic growth all across this country. It just takes somebody having the idea, and that's where the discovery comes from.
Look at all this stuff for coffee. Oh, there's tons. French presses, espresso tampers, filters. It can get really complicated. Not nearly as complicated as shipping it, though. I mean, shipping is a hassle.
Not with priority mail flat rate boxes from the Postal Service. If it fits, it ships anywhere in the country for a low flat rate.
That is easy. Best news I've heard all day. I'm so amped. I mean, not amped, excited. I mean, that's sort of amped. Really kind of in between.
Have you ever thought about decaf?
You think that'll help?
Yeah.
Priority mail flat rate shipping starts at just $4.95, only from the Postal Service. A simpler way to ship.
Well, if you bent over to pick up some change in the sofa cushions, or if you surfed away from this ball game for a couple of minutes, you have missed some rather eventful goings-on to start this 8th. We'll bring you up to speed in a moment. First, a word on the new pitcher. He is left-hander Franklin Morales, making his Red Sox debut tonight.
Hard thrower, and one of the troubles he's had over the years, though, is control. I think that's probably why Terry Francona did not bring him in to face Carlos Pena. Felt more confident with Albers, but this kid has an electric arm, no question about it. It's, can he get it over the plate?
A pinch hitter for Chicago, batting for Blake DeWitt, the right-handed hitting Jeff Baker, who started at third base last night and batted third. And Baker on the first pitch sends a bolt to center field. And that one's off the base of the monster. Log jam aboard. Play at the plate is not in time. Reed Johnson and Alfonso Soriano were running in lockstep with one another. We can only assume that Johnson got the bad break and scored on a very close play, a closer play than it should have been.
Well, Johnson, not necessarily bad break, but he's just making sure that that ball, if it is caught, he gets to third base. Off the wall, he's hustling all the way. Soriano breaking from the get-go. Johnson, a nice slide. He's moving. You talk about Baker. Now watch his slide here, man. He gets around Varitek and reaches back with the left hand. A real nice job.
Coy Hill now. The Cubs have come alive in the 8th. Boy, on another night, that ball Jeff Baker hits has a chance to get out of here.
Well, how about Jeff Baker and Reed Johnson tonight? Guys that have swung the bat well all year long for the Cubs, but just haven't been able to get into that everyday lineup. Do it again tonight.
Yeah, the non-starters have been a big story and big contributors for Chicago tonight. It's 0-2 to Coy Hill, top of the order. Kosuke Fukudome waiting next, as he would be the 9th Cub to bat in the inning. Still nobody out here. A wave and a miss. And a sarcastic round of applause coming out of the grandstand here. One gone. Just to walk you through what's happened in this 8th. Matt Albers came on to pitch. Darwin Barney and Starlin Castro singled. Aramis Ramirez worked an 11-pitch walk. Carlos Pena walked with the bases loaded. Reed Johnson then singled in a pair. Alfonso Soriano hit a pop-up that Jed Lowry dropped. Red Sox went to the bullpen for Morales, and on the first pitch to Jeff Baker, a run-scoring double.
Well, and remember, Castro, the second hitter of the inning, was down 0-2. Shoots the ball to right center, and then, as you mentioned, that at-bat by Aramis Ramirez, the key at-bat of the inning for me. Just continued to battle, foul off pitches. Ends up drawing a walk. Not only getting down to first, but that just frustrates the heck out of a pitcher.
Well, you're thinking at the very least here for Kosuke Fukudome. Put the ball in play, fly ball, get that additional run in from third with less than 2 out. And it's 2 balls and a strike now from Morales. Easier said than done. A lefty-lefty opportunity here. Darwin Barney waits next. He started the inning with a single. It's some game, huh?
I'll tell you.
I mean, the Cubs look dead in the water for 7 innings.
Sure did. You figure with this weather, not a lot of scoring. Like I said, that at-bat, I'm going to keep saying it, the at-bat by Aramis Ramirez, just to go up there and continue to battle in these elements. I mean, that was, to use the cliche, that was a professional at-bat.
Infield still in for Boston. 3 balls and a strike to count to Kosuke Fukudome. He has been hit by a pitch and walked tonight. And a full count now. Kerry Wood's been hot for a while.
How can you be hot with no sleeves?
Yeah, it sounded bad as soon as it came out of my mouth. And there's ball 4 to Fukudome. 3rd walk of the inning by Boston pitching. Braves and Angels out west for a DirecTV game break. We check in with Chris Rose and Mitch Williams.
Yeah, West Coast action underway. Bobby Abreu.
And this is one of the prettiest swings I've ever seen in baseball. It belongs to Bobby Abreu. Great swing.
His first homer since April 3rd. 2-0 Halos. And guys, if your game keeps going at that pace, I'll update you on Sunday's action coming up.
Hey, it's been fun to watch, though. This has been a half-hour inning so far. Here's Darwin Barney. The base is reloaded for Chicago. And Barney takes a fastball for a strike. It was his base hit that started what has become a 5-run inning. A fly ball out to right. We'll see if that's deep enough to get Soriano home. Oh, some problems on base. My goodness. Oh, and the throw gets away from Youkilis. Soriano scores anyway. An additional run scores. Soriano and Baker both score after it looked like the Cubs had run themselves out of a chance to plate an additional tally. Cue up the monkey and the organ grinder. My goodness.
I'll tell you what, the Red Sox are playing defense like the Cubs have been playing defense this year. The Cubs finally the beneficiary of some, I don't know what this is. You can't even get mad at it. You got to just, if you're a Red Sox, if you're sitting in that dugout, you just got to go, you got to be kidding me.
8-3 Chicago.
This is a complete team effort here.
And I can't tell if the throw was that bad by Varitek or if Youkilis alligator armed it on the receiving end. And then the ball at the plate gets away from Morales. Safe to say that sequence will not appear in the Tom Amansky instructional drills video.
And how about the base running by the Cubs? What that was just horrific base running to begin with.
Here's Starlin Castro now. I don't even know how to score that play.
I don't know, but that was entertaining. And I will say that. It was entertaining. And it happens. Just goes to show you, you see it at the youth levels and you get upset at the guys sometimes, but it happens at the big league level. And it happens with, all-stars, top players.
The official scoring on that ball is F9, E5, E7. No RBIs. There have been 3 errors committed this inning. The drop pop-up by Lowry. And errors charged to Youkilis and Crawford. Santa Maria. Swing and a drive. And a ball off the monster. Fukudome scores easily. An 8-run inning by the Chicago Cubs.
Castro just gets a fastball down the middle. Drives it off the wall. Look at the Cubs have hit this year. They just haven't hit with runners in scoring position. But they have had a number of opportunities. This team offensively, it's a good team. Again, the man at the plate, probably the most important at-bat of the inning.
And as the 12th hitter to come to the plate in this top of the 8th, it is he that is responsible for the final out. 8 runs in the 8th. Chicago on top 9-3.
You've reached the age where you don't back down from a challenge. This is the age of knowing how to make things happen. So why would you let something like erectile dysfunction get in your way? Isn't it time you talk to your doctor about Viagra? 20 million men already have. With every age comes responsibility. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor. See if America's most prescribed ED treatment is right for you.
The 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 engine in the Jeep Grand Cherokee has a best-in-class driving range of more than 500 miles per tank. Which means you don't have to worry about finding a gas station. Which is good, because there just might not be one.
With DirecTV, you can start watching in one room, pause, and continue watching in any other room. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Lowe's is sponsored by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. And by Viagra. Well, the Chicago Cubs have hung 8 on the Red Sox in the 8th, and they take a 9-3 lead into the bottom of the inning for Kerry Wood. And as you can tell by those numbers, it wasn't headed that way through the first 7.
No, it really looked all Red Sox. And, you know, it was only a 3-1 ball game. It was Zambrano had thrown well, kept them in the ball game, but it just seemed like the Red Sox were going to win this thing easily.
So it's Kerry Wood now in the bottom half of the 8th, and he'll face the number 9 hitter Jason Varitek, and then the top of the order Ellsbury and Pedroia. Tony Campana takes over in left field for Blake DeWitt. He's going all skateboard guy with the hat. Campana got into last night's ball game late. One and 2 the count to Jason Varitek. That's how the kids are doing it these days, EK. With the hat. A ball and 2 strikes to Jason Varitek. A big breaking ball misses up around the eyes. Kerry Wood back with the Cubs this year. Split 2010 between the Indians and the Yankees, and it was after the trade to New York that Wood really turned around his season. Jason Varitek lines for Campana. And the rookie Cub makes a fine catch.
Look at that. All he does, you're right. You throw a backpack and a skateboard, and he's locked in. I'll tell you what, though, the kid has a lot of speed. He's overcome a lot, too. Had a nice job the other day against the Reds. That thing is huge. I'm not talking about the hat. I'm talking about the glove.
What do they call those highlight? A Cessna in highlight?
You know what? You're over my head right now, Matty.
Well, nice talking to you. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury with 1 gone. So the last time the Chicago Cubs scored 8 or more runs in an inning on the road, it was August of 2008. The last time the Red Sox allowed 8 or more runs at home, it was August of 2008. And certainly the Red Sox defensive misgivings had a lot to do with that 8 spot.
Well, I'll say it. I think Mike Quade, though, he's probably just thinking to himself, I'm happy to see some other club does this. He's had some frustrations earlier in the week. He had a closed door meeting after a Monday night game against the Reds. They didn't play well, and then Tuesday they come out and give up 7 unearned runs.
Wow, that was called a foul ball by first base umpire Ed Hickox, and it's going to be worth looking at again. Jacoby Ellsbury was fairly confident, as was I, to be honest, that that ball landed in fair territory. A couple of different looks at it. Awfully tough to tell. You got to defer to the guy standing right down there on the field. And the big breaking ball from Wood just misses. We talked about Kerry Wood coming to the Cubs to the Yankees last year in that deal from the Indians, and how it really turned around his season. His numbers much better with the Yankees last year, setting up Mariano Rivera, than they were as the closer in Cleveland. So not only did Wood benefit, but the Indians bullpen was said to benefit, and not because they didn't want Kerry Wood around. It's because everybody fell into a role after that deal that they settled into. Chris Perez closing. And the pop-up is handled behind the plate by Coy Hill. Reminder, Wilfred, a new original comedy starring Elijah Wood, premieres next month on FX. Two away here in the Red Sox eighth now for Dustin Pedroia. (15-5) Red Sox last night. And after an 8-run eighth, 9-3 Cubs this